Hello, everyone. This is Andre's Restart. Later, soon, when Brandon's ready, he will be here as well. And tonight, we are doing our Nintendo Direct Bingo. We think the Direct is happening relatively soon. We were hoping this week, but it's looking like maybe next week is the more likely time at this stage. We shall see. Of course, it has to happen at some point this month, so we're already getting close to halfway anyway, so we're getting close. And today, we figured we'd do the bingo. So I'm going to put up a bingo card in a little bit, and we're going to kind of go through, put it together. You guys in the chat will be involved. Brandon will be involved. And we're going to try and put something together. It's going to be kind of fun. It's not necessarily like our hard set predictions, although we'll go over some of that tonight as well. We're I guess, review it for those that have missed it. And yeah, we're going to try and put together a little card, and hopefully we can get 5 in a row when the Direct does come. Apparently it's happening next week, but we'll talk more about that as we progress in the stream. Let me pull up the chat here. Brandon should be in here any moment. If you guys could let me know how everything is looking and sounding, I'd very much appreciate it. I see you already have a pretty good amount of likes. Thank you for liking the stream, guys. It's very helpful. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Hello there, Anthony Smith. Hello there, Sundog. AB James added me and said, if Metroid Prime 4 is a no-show, 50-50 chance, then maybe it's first unveiled in an October Switch 2 reveal trailer, similar to how they used Breath of the Wild in the October Switch teaser. See, I have a very similar perspective to you in that if we don't see it here somehow, I then kind of like assume it would be a part of the Switch 2 reveal. But there is something that I would like to mention when we talk about Metroid Prime 4, right? Because while it may be similar to Breath of the Wild, they save it to showcase during a Switch 2 reveal, Breath of the Wild was already shown to a great degree before the Switch 1 reveal, but it was a big part of that trailer. So I kind of think Metroid Prime 4, if it is going to be this cross-gen title, similar to Breath of the Wild, I think they should give us our first good look at the game. And then they can show us it. They can show us the game again on Switch 2 with whatever enhancements they may have. So that's kind of my thinking on that. But I mean, yeah, like while I think Metroid Prime 4 will be in this Direct, I am predicting that. We will talk more about that when we get to our bingo stuff for it. If it's not there, it's not even bad news in my mind, because that just kind of further strengthens the argument that they are saving Prime 4 for Switch 2. We've already seen the job listings that they've been polishing this game or doing the quality testing since early last year. So it's not like this game is not going to happen. It's not like this game is in jeopardy of being canceled or anything like that. So it's really just a matter of when. And I think they actually probably are pretty close. So the only reason they would not be showing it off is because they have a different plan for it from a marketing perspective and I guess, platform positioning perspective. It wouldn't have anything to do with the quality of the game or it coming out at some point or another. So yeah, I wouldn't be too worried. Of course, I want to see it sooner, right? So hopefully we see it in this Direct. Hello there, Brandon White. Hello there, It Approaches. Well, we started a few minutes late, so hopefully you got your pizza. Tag, hello there. Yes, it's bingo time. Ross Russ. Let's go. Yep, we're doing the bingo. Sam Talks Games, hello there. Kuro Kamina, hello there. Wily Tiger, good evening. Having Hope, hello. Hello there, Pride of Wesker. Hello there, DE Fox. Hello there, Nate. Connor adds me. Hi, Andres. I hope for next Tuesday's Direct, I still hope we can get Tomodachi Life and 2 3DS Kirby games, which are Kirby Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot. Yeah, I mean, I think all of those, they're on the table as potential remasters within the next few years for Switch 1. I think we could see them at some point. Crazy Scott, Johnny Hernandez. Yeah, I'm hoping the Direct. I mean, at this point, it's probably not this week, so I'm hoping next week. Pride of Wesker. We're running out of. If it's gonna happen this month, there's only so much time left that they can do it. So, yeah. Boo Mini has gifted a membership, and CAG has been awarded this membership. Welcome. Nish Quick Pops listening while on the drive. All right, we'll drive safely, but I do hope you enjoy the stream. Bruce Dickinson's hello. Connor says everything sounds good. Thank you. Having hope. Thank you. Bruce Dickinson, you're saying the direct is in the future? No, I don't know about that. That's a tough one. I don't know. I think it was in the past. I have evidence for the Nintendo Directs all in the past. But the future, that's a mystery. Sky Swords Alyssa, hello there. Thank you for letting me know everything looks and sounds great. By the way, everyone, Sky Sword Alyssa has been streaming a lot of Zelda, right? You guys should check out her YouTube channel. And actually, she told me she's planning a Twilight Princess stream this weekend on Saturday. So check her out. Subscribe to her channel if you're interested in Zelda streams. Tune in. Give her a watch. I think it's going to be a good time. Captain Doge, hello there. Bradley Taylor. Having Hope has renewed their membership 16 straight months. Having Hope says, let me put it up here. Boom Mini had gifted membership from earlier. Having Hope, please Nintendo give us Zelda and Prime 4. Yeah. Please Nintendo. Like those are my two sort of big things, the two tentpole things, like something Zelda, Metroid Prime 4, like that's kind of like the two things I'm sort of thinking we can see in the direct. But we'll get into that. Where is Brandon? It's a good thing I didn't wait for Brandon. It's already 8:13. Where are you, buddy? Where be you? Oh, let's see here. Having issues. Gotta reboot. Alright, he'll be here soon. Okay. Very good. Velociraptor Ghost asks me if I'm replaying Wind Waker on my Wii U. I hope it comes to Switch or Switch 2 so new Zelda fans can enjoy this game. Yeah, there are a lot of people who haven't played Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. So I definitely think, it would make sense to get those at some point. The Real J Stone asks me, if Breath of the Wild did get a remastered version for Switch 2, the big news will be all of the DLCs will be preserved, but the glitches, including the Master Sword trial, will be removed. The glitches. Yeah. The thing is, Breath of the Wild, it's so interesting because Breath of the Wild has so many interesting, fun glitches in it that, it may be hard to find them when you're just playing normally, but with everyone who's played the game, we've had so many discoveries on it. Remastering the game and taking those out, I think that would make it a lesser experience. It's actually one of the things about Breath of the Wild that I think kind of, it gives it more personality. And it's things you can't see, you can't experience in Tears of the Kingdom, right? Like Tears of the Kingdom's more polished in that regard. And while on one hand you can say it's a good thing, and it is, on another, because Breath of the Wild is already a pretty polished game as far as open world games go, but some of the glitches are just crazy with the physics and what you can do, and so it's fun. Getting rid of it would make it a lesser experience, but if I'm not mistaken, there were also glitches that they intentionally left in for the remaster of Ocarina of Time 3D on Nintendo 3DS. So if they were to be remastering Breath of the Wild, I would hope they would have the similar sort of knowledge or like perspective they had going to Ocarina of Time 3D and maintain the glitches that made the game all the more fun and interesting. The ones that ruined the experience, if they're still there somehow, then sure, take those out, but they would have patched them out. And that's another thing to consider here. They didn't patch them out of Breath of the Wild. They could have, they didn't. So I would say whatever sort of interesting glitches there are, they would keep them in. Now, some of them that tie into the DLC, I guess that's a whole other kind of like consideration there. But I would assume that the thinking would still apply. I would assume. Let's see here. Rainbow Kappa with a super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Rainbow Kappa says, don't you lose giving yourself false hope for Tamagotchi Life on Switch still. For real, wondering what Nintendo is going to announce at this point. Yeah, don't you lose giving yourself false hope for Tamagotchi Life on Switch still. I mean, I'm not even a Tamagotchi Life fan. I just think it makes sense to remaster that game. at some point during the Switch era. So within, if not this year, within the next couple of years, while Switch is still somewhat relevant. You look at the success of Metopia. I think something similar would happen if they were to remaster Tamagotchi Life. And it's definitely one of those games that you don't need like a big 4K, HDR ray traced version of. So I think just having a solid looking version on Switch with that massive audience, a lot of people would appreciate that game. But in terms of what Nintendo could announce at this point, I mean, we're gonna get into it, right? But I think a new 2D Zelda, that's gonna be a big talking point tonight. That's definitely something that Nintendo can announce. There's a variety of remakes and remasters. You look at the GameCube library, you look at the 3DS library, the Wii library. Those three consoles, there's a variety of games there that they could remaster that would probably be enjoyed very much by a big part of the Switch fan base. But look who has made it in. It is Brandon. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. My computer, I had it open. It put the screen to sleep and then it wouldn't wake up. So yeah. I couldn't, I had to restart it like twice. And then there was some other stuff I had to do real quick. But I'm here now.
You're here now. You're here now. We're good. We're running. And I think we're. I want to catch up with the chat real quick. I was going through it while you were here, but I want to kind of continue for a couple more minutes, and then we'll jump into the bingo. Okay. Basically, I'm just going to screen share me just editing. I did this once before and it worked, so that it's fairly like simple way to do it, but I think it'll get the job done.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I will show you guys in a minute, but let's stick with the chat for a couple more minutes and then we'll get there. So Unboxing Games asks me, Direct is on the 18th. Among Us trailer announced new content for the 18th and made the trailer private. Well, thank you bringing me to the big point for today. So for those who missed the story, basically, two things happened. Two leaks related to Among Us. One, is it Innersloth, the name of the developer? The Among Us developer on their website, they accidentally posted an update to their website, a blog update, announcing new content with like new roles for Among Us, and that it would be launching on the 18th. But then they took it down. And what's interesting is that GameSpot actually posted the trailer. They published a trailer for this update that showed the roles, showed that it was coming out on the 18th, but the trailer also said out now, implying that whatever sort of juncture this trailer was supposed to be out for, it would be a shadow drop releasing at the same time of this event. Considering that Summer Games Fest just happened this weekend, and they did not take the opportunity then to announce this update, and we're anticipating a Direct soon, and there's a history of Among Us shadow drop updates, it seems to be lining up here. So you have a double leak for Among Us content coming on the 18th, and I mean, sure, it's possible that maybe they're just planning to do their own announcement randomly on the 18th, and they just, for whatever reason, chose to not say anything during Summer Games Fest. That's possible. But it does seem to hard hint at the Direct happening on the 18th. Now, something I did not say in my video today that I kind of wish I spoke on a little bit more. The thing about Directs is that we have seen times where there's kind of flexibility with the date, right? Like, it may be the 18th, but Nintendo also may be willing to move that around a bit, right? Now, does that mean that the Among Us team will be like, oh, well, now we got to change our shadow drop date, right? Like that's hard to say. Maybe these things are already locked in,
right?
And maybe they're not related, but there's a few other considerations to be had here. So at this point, it does not look like it's happening this week. Maybe Nintendo announces the Direct tomorrow and it happens on Thursday, but outside of that odd possibility, because it doesn't seem like it's happening this week. Like, there are no leakers suggesting it'll be happening this week. Rather, all leakers seem to be suggesting it's happening after this week. And there's only 2 full weeks left in the month of June. Something else that I haven't really been putting too much stock into, mainly because I'm not that big into holidays. Call me un-American. I'm not saying I don't celebrate holidays. I do. I just don't think about them that much. And there's a holiday happening next week in America. I live in Florida, so I am American. But it's Juneteenth. It's next week. Now, Juneteenth is about celebrating, the abolishment of slavery, right? So it's an important holiday. It's an important sentiment. But amongst like the American holidays, it's not like the most popular, most known, right? So, I don't know how much stock you want to put into that, but some people seem to think that Nintendo would not have the Direct on that day for that reason. It's possible, right? And also, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD comes out at the end of the month. What's the exact day? I mean, I
don't know.
I mean, it's gonna really. I can tell you, it's the 27th.
Gotcha.
So, basically, we're looking at it's probably next week. That's basically what it is, right? Because if we wait till the week of the day of the Tuesday, the 25th, 26th, or 27th, Luigi's Mansion 2 comes out 27th. You probably don't want to have a direct right before. And so we're looking at basically the 18th, 19th, or 20th. If there's a holiday on the 19th and we have a leak for suggesting a shadow drop in a major event on the 18th, then that seems like a pretty likely time that it happens. We'll see. But that's kind of basically why people think the direct date has been leaked. I mean, what do you make of it, Brandon?
I mean, it's hard to say for certain, but maybe the people who are calling for Tuesday, maybe they're right. Maybe they get what they want.
Maybe so.
Maybe they get that E3, typical timing. But I definitely think. I mean, I've been thinking it was going to be next week for a while. So it definitely just more concretely makes me think it's going to be next week. Though I did think it was going to be the 19th. But I didn't think about Juneteenth, which, depending on who you are, could be a rather major holiday for you. So maybe they don't want to do it then.
Yeah, well, I've advocated for the 12th. I've also always said the 19th is pretty much just as likely. And so, it may not be the 19th either, but like within those weeks, right? Give or take a day.
Yeah.
That seems like what may be happening here.
Yeah, and we have seen Innersloth, specifically, I guess, just with Among Us, announce a ton of stuff during Nintendo Directs. So it wouldn't shock me if that was their plan. Right. Maybe it changes, and maybe they don't end up announcing a Direct. Maybe they just show it off in a trailer beforehand. If maybe Nintendo changed the date they wanted, but I definitely think at least that they would do that if it was convenient for them.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So an interesting question from Mario. Mario, hey, we got Mario in the chat. Mario asks,
Luigi.
He's off. He's off in the Eclair Kingdom right now. Mario asks, Andres, will we finally see Metroid Prime 4 in this upcoming Direct? So I'm predicting yes, but let me send that over to you guys in the chat. Will Metroid Prime 4 show in the Direct? That doesn't mean it's coming out this year or next year. We're just talking about some kind of trailer. Do we get some kind of trailer for Metroid Prime 4 in the Direct?
I say yes. I think it will probably, if I had to guess, I would say that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be their very last thing. And they'll probably show either Prime 2 and 3 as a dual pack or Prime 2 beforehand.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I kind of expect Metroid Prime 2 at least to come out this year, and I feel like it'd be really weird to announce these and still not mention Metroid.
Still not mention Metroid,
yeah.
I don't think that the first time we see Metroid Prime 4 should be on Switch 2, because I want to see the Switch 1 version. I don't want them to just sweep that one under the rug and just show off Switch 2 footage.
Yeah, an interesting point that we kind of touched on before you jumped in, Brandon, is like how if it isn't in this direct, then we kind of assume that it'll be part of the Switch to reveal trailer. But
Right.
to your point, I kind of talked about how kind of like Breath of the Wild, right? Um, Nintendo showed off that game first on Wii U, and then we had the Switch reveal trailer where Breath of the Wild was a big part of it. I
Right.
feel like it makes sense to show off Prime 4 first for Switch 1 in a direct in
Yeah.
similar fashion. And then when we do have that Switch 2 reveal event, there they show Prime 4 running on the console. Perhaps you show the improved version of it, um,
Right. And it
alongside
makes
other
sense
games.
to have shown the first version if you want to show the improvements on the Switch 2 version. So makes sense to show the Switch 1 version at least sometime.
Yeah.
If not with the Switch 2 version, like side by side, or some like
Yeah.
comparisons and
I,
stuff. I mean, they want people to be able to do comparisons and things.
Yeah, I think the other there's a few considerations here, right? We're assuming there's a Switch 2 version. We don't know that.
Right.
But if there is gonna be a Switch 2 version, then you would hope that the Switch 1 version is respectable. And I
Mhm.
think some people grow concerned because they look at a lot of third-party ports and you see how they run on Switch 1, you're like, oh God, that's terrible. We don't want that for Metroid Prime 4. But we also have to remind ourselves that Metroid Prime 4 is a Nintendo game. It is an
Right.
internally developed Nintendo project. If
Started
there's a
life on Switch 1 for sure.
Exactly. So like if there's a game that's gonna have a better version, the Switch version is not going to be bad. It's going to be good. Like there are third-party games that look and run impressively on Switch, even though there are still more impressive versions elsewhere. And so
Right.
I expect that for Metro Prime 4 on Switch 1. And I think that's important because when we do see it for the first time on Switch 1, it's going to be for Switch 1, right? So like
Yeah.
it still needs to look good, and I think it will. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I mean think of it like this, like listen, the Tears of the Kingdom is not considered to be the most visually impressive game on Switch, right?
No.
Like if you account for everything the game it's doing with physics and such, it is extremely impressive, and maybe you could
Yes.
argue that's the most technically impressive game from that regard. In that regard, but my point is that in terms of it putting together cool looking, exciting trailers, it did its job, right? So
Mm.
I imagine that whatever they get going for Metro Prime 4, because I assume it would be smaller scale with not as much crazy physics involved, right? But they'll still be
Right.
able to put a visual profile together that will be impressive for Switch 1 and will look really good in trailers, will still excite a lot of people before they even show off the Switch 2 version. The
Yeah.
hypothetical Switch 2 version that we're still not sure exists.
Yeah. I think it will basically look like Metroid Prime remastered with maybe a slightly different. I mean, it's gonna be basically that art style, and it's gonna be that
I would
same
assume better
engine.
lighting.
Maybe I would assume just bigger
Maybe
environments and
smarter
maybe a
lighting, if that makes any sense. Like, because like in Prime Remastered, like
Oh
they had
yeah.
like there is the black segment, which I think was by design, but I also think because the arm cannon doesn't light in the same way it does in the original, it impacts things somewhat, and
Mhm.
sometimes you can kind of see like the artificial lighting and how it cuts off. It doesn't blend as well from the arm cannon attacks. Like I think
Yeah.
there are some subtle things there that they could do that can make the lighting feel more dynamic across the board, because there are some amazing lighting effects in the game, but like in terms of like Samus's arm cannon, how it interacts with the
Yeah.
world, that part is limited. I imagine it's like little things like
Might be
that will be
something
better.
they could do about that. I'm
I
not
have to
sure,
assume
just
so.
because their
I just
technique, it might be very expensive to do something like that with the way they're rendering the game versus on GameCube, where it
That's
was
what you get
much
on the
simpler
that's what
to
you get in the
pull it
Switch
off.
2 version.
Yeah, the Switch 2 version, maybe if they do like ray traced effects or something, that would be very easy. It would be very hard to fake that with modern techniques and the way the game is lit in general. It's just a kind of a concession of the baked lighting of the kind of
I
and
just
the
gotta
PR
assume
they're using.
that whatever
It may
they
be something
do,
they could do.
I mean, I would just be surprised if Prime 4 looks worse than Prime Remaster. I
No,
don't see that
yeah.
happening.
I mean, you
So
kind of cut me off. So like, my main thing I
it's
was
all
trying
right.
to say is I think Metroid Prime 4 will look basically as good as Prime Remastered. Maybe not as high resolution because they may be going for like a bunch more things happening on screen. Of course, Metroid Prime was based off a GameCube game. So there's a lot less going on potentially in that game versus what may be happening in a bigger scope, bigger levels in Prime 4. So maybe we have more of a dynamic resolution, and it dips a little bit lower than in Prime Remastered. But the overall visual makeup of the game, I assume they're just gonna be building off of that work.
Yeah, yeah. I think the I believe I have to double check this, but I remember seeing some sort of like there were some job hirings that were talking about getting 60 FPS running on Switch 1. So I would assume that
Oh wait,
uh,
I'm 100%
I'm like
confident it's gonna be
yeah,
60 FPS. They don't target anything lower than that, do they?
yeah,
Have they ever targeted not 60 FPS?
all Retro Studios games run at 60 frames per second.
Yeah, I don't see them
Yeah.
changing that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I also have a hard time like envisioning like the game running like at 540p. Um,
No, not unless
uh,
they use some kind of like
maybe in
TA
handheld
reconstruction,
mode.
like Xenoblade or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It
The
could look
thing,
pretty good, and if they use reconstruction, but if they don't, then I definitely don't think they're going to go that low.
yeah. Anyway, well, we're gonna talk about more Metroid later, right? Because spoiler alert, it will be a part of our bingo card. So
Facts.
unless you guys are trying to convince me otherwise, but I don't know how you're gonna convince me that Metroid's
You gotta
not
convince
be in the
both of
bingo.
us.
Right? Like it's not even like could somehow there not be Metroid in the Direct? Sure, but none of us are like. I think we all think there's a good chance. So you would have to
Yeah.
convince both of us that there's no chance it would be in the Direct for us to not put it on the bingo card. Because if
There'd
there's
have
just
to
a
be a
chance,
really
of
either that or
spoiling the
there'd have to
bingo,
be a really, really good reason for it to not show.
Nintendo would have to announce on Twitter right now that Prime 4 will not come out for Switch 1. And even then, I might be like, well, what about Metroid Prime 2? So, yeah. And that's
I
not,
mean, I think Metroid Prime 4 and Prime 2 can probably be separate bingo things.
that I agree. Yeah. Anyways, KAG added me. Considering Nintendo plans to sell 13 million units this year, do you think we can see a new model for Switch revealed during the Direct? I don't think they will reveal the new model
No.
during the Direct because they don't normally do that. But I do think there's a good chance we could see at least another OLED announced this year. And maybe there will be another revision that'll be like a cheaper version of like the Switch Lite or something that maybe has a better screen. Like I think stuff like that is on the cards.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible if they think that that would sell more units. I am kind of like trying to think of a revision that would be super appealing because an OLED light is because it's going to be more expensive, I assume, than the original OLED, unless they discount that. But then it would just be the same price as the original non-OLED light. I don't know if that's really super appealing or not. I honestly don't know. Maybe people in the chat, would you want that? Would that sell? Would people buy that? I don't know.
There's all kinds of people.
But I could see a quiet revision potentially as well, like another chipset change. It's been a while since they've changed it.
That wouldn't do much for sales, though.
No. I
No.
just think that that's potential.
It might help Nintendo's bottom line.
Yeah.
Right? Because it'd be cheaper for them to make or something.
I think the biggest thing, honestly, is just going to be, I think there's going to be a price drop this year. I think it's going to be the first year the Switch 1 is finally price dropped. I think it's going to be $50. I don't think they're going to go quite 100 yet. I think they probably will do another price drop in a year or two.
You know, it'd be crazy if they release a new Switch Lite that can dock.
That would be interesting.
And maybe they just call it Switch Mini. They call it Switch Mini. It does everything. It's just basically a smaller Switch, like literally. Like, and maybe they phase out like normal Switch Lite, and they phase out normal Switch, and then they price drop OLED, and then they have Switch Mini. And that's what they do. Maybe Switch Mini is $150 and Switch OLED's like $250 or something. And
I wonder if anybody's tested thermals on a Switch Lite, like running in like docked mode, because it is a much smaller fan. So I'm curious what the thermal profile is for that. But otherwise, I think it should work fine with a dock.
Yeah. By the way, guys, we're about to start the bingo. We're getting there. We're just yapping.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they got options. But anyways, with that said, Okay, two more things I just think are interesting, and then we'll get to it. So Velociraptor Ghost adds me. Sometimes I wonder if Brandon, if you have something, let's keep it short. Velociraptor Ghost adds me. Sometimes I wonder if what we got on the original Prime 4, that there wasn't a delay. What do you think that version looked like? Like before it was the cancellation, like the supposed Bandai Namco version. I imagine whatever it was gonna be is not going to be as good as this one will be.
Yeah.
That's, it's like, imagine. All right, think of, maybe this is a good comparison. You look at what we're getting for Luigi's Mansion 2 HD on Switch, and compare that to Luigi's Mansion 3 on Switch. I feel like that's going to be the gap in quality versus what we would have hypothetically have gotten versus what we will get. Now,
I
obviously we don't
disagree.
know that, but
I think, in my mind, I imagine that the developers actually had a really high graphical like bar. I think they just didn't have the want or to put in the time and resources to make it run at 60 FPS on Switch. And Nintendo was like, "What is this? Metroid at 30 FPS?
yeah.
Patooey, get out of here!"
Just for the record, I wasn't saying that the game would have the same level of visual fidelity as Luigi's Mansion 2. I was just more so talking about
Oh,
the
okay.
gap in quality between 2
Oh
and
yeah,
3.
yeah.
That's what I meant. Not so much that I think it still would have been a pretty impressive game for Switch. But to your point, yeah, maybe Prime 4 would have been a 30 FPS game if they stuck with the original project. That's a good point. Yeah. But moving on, in the interest of time, Captain Doge adds me. I'd recommend going onto ArtStation and searching up Retro Studios and just look at some of the talent they have on that game. Seeing their portfolios just makes you think about Prime 4.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be something to do. That would be, yeah.
They got people who worked on like Uncharted. I think they have people who used to work on Halo and Call of Duty. They have like a bunch of really big talent.
Yeah. Like
I think maybe some people from Gears.
If I search Retro Studios, will I start to see their different profiles?
He said go to ArtStation. I don't know what that is.
It's a website. Look at that.
Well, I assumed it was a website, but I've never used it.
I don't know. I'm just looking at different things. I went to ArtStation, Retro Studios, and just see different renders of things. I don't know. There's some interesting things here, but I don't. It's not like I'll have to look deeper into it. So I'm not going to do that right now. What I am going to do is get into the bingo. It's time for bingo.
Yes.
We've stalled enough. One more stall. Harry Myers is a super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Harry says, just showing some support. Star Fox GameCube combo pack. Oh, dude, that would be sick. That would be so good. Like, I don't even want like Vash change it. Well, actually, no. Star Fox Assault. There's a lot of work to be done there. But like Star Fox Adventures, just give it that to me at 1080p widescreen. Beautiful. Beautiful. It would be so good. Star Fox Assault, I want like, online play and stuff, like maybe turn it to 8 players, add a few extra characters, content. Like I think there's so much potential there to give us something. Like you can take that game and just add a little bit, and it gives us a lot for the Switch era. And while we wait for a true new Star Fox a few years from now.
Online,
but anyways,
so big.
It would be so huge. Yeah, we'd be all over that. But now let's jump into the bingo. All right. So this is the format. Nothing crazy. I'm just gonna be kind of filling up these boxes, right? I'm gonna be listening to you guys in the chat as well. What you guys think? We'll put up some polls to see if there's anything we're unsure on. This time I decided to start with just a free one because, well,
I think that's pretty common.
That's the norm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking with that. But what direction should we go, Brandon? Do you want to go right? You want to go up, left, down, diagonal? Should we start from the middle? Should we start from the top?
The placement's the hardest part. I've never done one of these. What do you suggest?
I feel like I'm not an expert either. I did this once.
No, you at least have some experience.
Man,
this ain't your first rodeo.
Well,
up. I'm choosing for us.
I was gonna say the same thing. All right, we're starting up, right? We're starting up, but what what should we do? Like that. All right. Like, where do we go?
Maybe we should make a list of options and then decide placement after.
No, that's not fun. But we're
Okay.
we're gonna start building this out right here. Also, I don't want to like.
What if we want to change positions?
We can edit. We can edit afterwards.
Yeah.
I did that
Okay,
last
okay.
time. Wasn't that big a deal. All right. So, you know what? Leon Kennedy in the chat is mentioning Fire Emblem, and you know
Okay.
what?
Good enough.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't disagree. Fire Emblem, you know, like, I think there's a good chance Fire Emblem could be there. Is the font too big? The font's too big. Well, I could just do this. Now it's not too big, or is it still too big?
I think the gap might be.
No,
Nope,
it's just
fine.
fine. It's fine.
Fuck
There we go.
it.
There we go. Okay, so we got Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem. All right. I agree. Something Fire Emblem makes sense to be in the direct. Like, you know, we have the the genealogy of the Holy War, right? That's been rumored for some time, a remake.
Oh yeah.
I think there's a good chance it shows up here. So, you know, I think if we did this, we'd be off to a pretty good start. And maybe what we should think about, right? Like the rows, right? Like if this is a row, right? Like if Fire Emblem was shown off, what else seems likely, if that makes any sense? You know, like if we're gonna get a Fire Emblem remake, maybe that slightly decreases the chances of there being another remake in the direct. I think there could be multiple remakes, but you know what I mean? Like they're not gonna have 100% remakes. You know, like I think there's gonna be a little bit of a mix. Or do you disagree with that point?
No, there's definitely gonna be a mix.
Okay. Okay. But you know, I'm just putting it out there because I think it does make sense to kind of weigh that as we kind of go through these. Now,
Okay. I mean, yeah, we don't want to put like all remakes and remasters in one line.
yeah. All right, so I see, you know, I saw someone bring up a new Mario Party. I agree, Mario Party is going to be there. And Mario Party is a new game, right? So it kind of goes in line with my thinking. Like, if there's a Fire Emblem remake, I don't think that takes anything away from there being a Mario Party this year as well, right?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, so I think we could do this, and we're not shooting ourselves in the foot necessarily. I think that would be pretty good. We got a long way to go, though. You know, like, so do we stay? Should we stay on this column, or should we start thinking about this row? Should we be chaotic?
Should be chaotic. I say we do another Mario game, but we don't put it on the same row as the Mario Party. I think Mario
go diagonal.
Mario Sluggers. Put it to the
Over
left
here.
of Fire Emblem.
Oh, we're going chaotic here. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
left of Fire Emblem, put Mario Sports.
Mario Sports. We're gonna keep it a little broad, so we have a greater chance of getting this. Because what if do like Mario at the Olympics or something instead, or like Mario,
yeah, because it could be Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, so.
or a whole new sports title. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So here we are. We're in a whole different column. We're going chaotic here.
I mean, definitely
having hope
here
is
somewhere.
We will, but having hope is adding me about Monolith Soft new IP. Now, I think there's no chance we're seeing Monolith Soft's new IP in this direct. I'll explain my reasoning. Yeah, I think they're already working on Switch too. But they just came out with the Future Redeem DLC last year, and if we go by their pattern of releases, 2024 should probably be a break year, and so I don't even think we're going to see anything from them in this direct, especially with Switch 2 on the horizon. I think they would save their next project for Switch 2. Even if I'm wrong, they're still probably taking a break this year. So I don't think we should put something from Monolith Soft. The only thing you might be able to convince me of, actually, there's two things related to Monolith Soft. One could be maybe some sort of port of Xenoblade X. But my thing with Xenoblade X, I don't think we're getting Xenoblade X on Switch 1, right?
I don't think so either.
And my thinking is that if they go back to Xenoblade X, they're gonna do a Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition.
Yes.
And if you look at what they did for the first Definitive Edition, it was essentially it was a high tier remaster, right? Like a lot of the
Right.
game was reworked to look like a modern Xenoblade game on modern hardware, tons of new
New
content.
lighting system,
Yeah,
tons
like
of new assets,
so
newer
like
textures.
could they port Xenoblade X to Switch? The answer
Sure.
is technically yes. And they could add new content and they could do quality of life updates. They could
Maybe
do
like
all these things.
1080p, get maybe a little bit better textures or something, but it wouldn't look that much better.
Right, but it wouldn't be a definitive edition. It would just be like Xenoblade Chronicles X HD. Well, not
Deluxe.
it's or deluxe is probably what they would go for, right? Definitive edition implies like a vast visual overhaul, and I think the Switch is only slightly more powerful than the Wii U. You need a next generation leap in hardware to provide a definitive edition experience for Xenoblade X. Now, maybe they don't choose to define definitive edition in that way, right? Maybe they just like, hey, this is just what we call our remasters, right? But that's why I lean more so in there. That's not what we're going to see.
Yeah, I think they'll wait to take a bigger advantage. Just because they could remaster it, but they're not going to make a definitive edition. Like if they touch Xenoblade again, like the original, it's going to be a full remake, right? Like it would have to be. Otherwise, why would they do that?
I mean,
and they're not going to make.
I think it will. I think it may be a reboot. Like it would have to be like a reimagining, even. Like I think the remaster of Xenoblade 1 is so good, you don't even really need a classic, like a classic remake. You would have to do like a complete like redesign. That said, there is something potentially Xenoblade related that could be in this direct. And that would be a Xenoblade Warriors. That I can see. That I think there's a good chance of. Now, question is, do we want to be cheap and just put Warriors game, or do we want to be like just straight up Xenoblade Warriors? How ballsy do you want to be here?
I mean, what other Warriors game makes sense? I'm trying to think. They could have another Zelda one, but I don't think they will do that again.
Yeah, imprisoning, like what like the imprisoning war.
Yeah,
Hyrule Warriors imprisoning war.
I don't see people getting hyped for another Zelda style Warriors game.
We've gotten 2 Zelda Warrior games. We've got 2 Fire Emblem Warriors games. I think they should just do another Nintendo franchise in the next one that makes the most sense to Xenoblade. And if they're willing to do Fire Emblem Warriors, I don't think. I mean, Xenoblade's almost a level of Fire Emblem in terms of popularity. Like I think that a Xenoblade Warriors would be pretty appropriate. So
I say we go and we go balls to the wall and we write Xenoblade Warriors.
It Approaches says Kirby Warriors. No, that's genius. That's genius. All right, so Xenoblade Warriors. Let's stick with it. Right, where
I
would
would be kind of disappointed though if they announce any Warriors game, just because I want to see what they can do on Switch to change the formula. But let's still put it on the bingo card.
Where do we go though? Here's my thing. While I'm arguing to put that Xenoblade Warriors deserves a spot on the bingo card, I'm not predicting it to actually be in the direct, right? Yeah. So like, part of me doesn't think we're going to see any sort of Nintendo Warrior game this year. And so I'm kind of like, okay, we put this. Does it disqualify a row or call? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a better chance of Fire Emblem, Mario Sports, and Mario Party than I do Xenoblade Warriors.
Oh yeah.
But I also think, it still should be somewhere here.
We could put it on like
we go to Agro again, and we just like we're just putting an entirely new like row.
I was thinking of doing that, but I was thinking of doing it on the 4th row to the right. Maybe next to the free, but maybe not that close to the free. We don't want to waste 3 spots.
Right. Okay, so here's my issue with what you suggested. At least what we've been doing, there's been a trajectory, right? Like we went up, down, like we've been connecting box to box. What you're suggesting is that I just jump to the other side, and we could do that. There doesn't have to be any rule that we have to connect like that, right?
You can connect it with Fire Emblem. You can touch
Oh,
Fire Emblem or
you mean
Mario
here?
Party. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
You want this?
that's what
You
I
want
said.
this?
To the
You
right
want
of
this?
free on the fourth row from the right.
Oh, I see.
We can do one of those. Yeah,
right.
somewhere in this row. We can do there.
Red like a disease.
We can do there. I mean, honestly, I don't know, man. I don't think either of us really. We're just kind of doing stuff, you know. We're just doing it.
All right, Xenoblade Warriors. Here we go. I'm gonna put.
You can just put Xeno Warriors.
Yeah. That'll probably make it easier to. It fits. Really.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. So we got Xenoblade Warriors, right? Leo Augur says Nintendo Online updates. All right. All right. So hear me out.
I guess if we're not getting the September Direct, they would need to do those now, unless they just want to shadow drop those.
NSO updates.
Your trailer.
Well, there's possible. The thing is, we need more games, right? Like, I think we need a new slate of games.
There's some games. Yeah, they just don't usually announce them during directs.
Yeah. So, do we want to?
I don't want it on that row.
you want this to be the golden column, right? This is like
probably.
Okay. All right.
We could put it. That's fine. That or the very bottom right.
Here.
Right there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll stick with it. I just like that it feels more spread out right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just for fun, you don't have to overthink it.
That's I'm still gonna overthink it, but you're right.
Oh, we have been this entire time.
That's the fun of it. Like that.
There is some fun in overthinking.
It's not an Andres restart stream if we're not overthinking it. That's true. That's the energy of the channel. We overthink everything until we short circuit and have to restart. Yeah.
True.
Daytona Odyssey 07 F-Zero Warriors instead of a new game if Nintendo wants to be evil. F-Zero Warriors? Heck yeah. Yes, it does. Makes all Captain Falcon just Falcon punching everything. He just
they wouldn't be in the vehicles. They'd just be running around.
Some of them would be chaos. Yeah.
Maybe they can get in their vehicles for special moves.
Yeah. Met Dead adds me and says you should do Wind Waker HD next for the Zelda game. Well, I think we're gonna put multiple Zelda things here.
Yeah.
Wind Waker HD is one of them though. So I mean we could start there. So I think that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are not as likely as 2D Zelda.
Yes. I'm kind of comfortable putting it in the top left if you want to finish out this row.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question to you is: we're gonna put Wind Waker, Twilight Princess in the same, or we're gonna keep them separate?
I don't see.
All right, you know what I'm gonna do?
I personally don't see them both coming out. Honestly, don't know if either of them are gonna come out. But if
I think they're both.
One of them
might
does.
Both be duds, but I'm gonna put it to the poll. Right? Do we bundle? Wind Waker and TPHD for the bingo, or separate slots? Do we bundle Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD for the bingo, or separate slots? Okay. Bundle.
I really wish YouTube would load the chat when I go on the streams. For some reason, it takes a few minutes, and then the chat's like, "Oh, I'm here."
All right, so I'll let this poll run for a few minutes, right? And so I'll kind of leave. I'm gonna put this just in the middle, so we know that this is wrong, and we'll come back to it. Okay. In the meanwhile, let's move on from Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, right? We'll still talk about Zelda though, right? So I think you and I both agree that 2D Zelda seems to be kind of like what the Zelda thing is gonna be, right? We agree on that. And so as a result, we got to put it in this
The golden
bingo.
column.
But there's some other considerations to be made here, though, Brandon. We don't know if this is going to be like a brand new 2D game. Could be a remake of a 2D game. Could be a spin-off, right? So
I'm hard predicting a new 2D game. It's been too long. We got a new 2D Mario. Wasn't some nonsense. We're getting a new 2D Zelda.
Okay, so do you want to just do, or should I actually type out new 2D Zelda, or should I just put 2D Zelda?
I mean,
I feel like we should. Just
I vote to put new 2D Zelda.
But what happens if they give us a remake of, I don't know, like Minish Cap?
Well, then I'll have been wrong.
And I'll be cursing you.
Well, okay, then for your sake, since it's not just my bingo card, you put 2D Zelda.
I'm just putting 2D Zelda, even though I think it probably is new. I agree with you. It's probably new.
You could put new 2D Zelda with an asterisk. It only applies to me, the new part.
Or we're just keep in mind.
I want to predict new.
Yeah. My brain.
I want to just keep it on the record, chat. That one for me, it only counts for me if it's a new 2D Zelda.
Yeah, sure.
But Andres can get the point if it's not.
Yeah. Somehow I drag this off from being center anymore. It's bothering me.
Still.
I don't know what I did. All right,
there you go.
Okay. All right.
You should just lock it in place.
Yeah. How do I even do that?
I think you like right click on it and then you can lock it or something. I know there's a way. There's a lock. Because clicking the eye does that. I know there's a way to do it, but I don't.
This doesn't lock it. This just drags it with anything else with something else. So I just won't. Maybe you're probably right, but whatever. Just leave it as. Okay. So, we got 2D Zelda. How's the poll coming? The poll is actually, oh my god. I'm trying to move this. There we go. All right. Anyway, so the poll right now is actually fairly divided. And it's close.
Yeah.
47% has said bundles, 54. But it's like it's going back and forth, right? But it's like 45-55 at best in terms of separation. It is closer than that, right? It's separated by like 6 to 8% right now. So we'll let that run for a little bit, let the sample size grow. So we're still leaving Wind Waker Twilight Princess kind of in a limbo. But it seems like we're leaning towards there'll be separate things to post. I mean, outside of that, do we want to talk about any other potential Zelda announcements, right? Like, for example, could the Zelda cast be announced during this direct? Is that even worth putting in the bingo, or is it just far too soon?
I think it's probably too soon.
But here's the problem with that, Brandon. While I agree with you, it's probably too soon. Is it so probably too soon that we shouldn't even put it in the bingo?
Maybe we could consider it and then just see if we
can
find something. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. We're on the same thought process here. Okay. All right, so then outside of that, I don't know what else. Is there anything? I mean, we're gonna have 2 to 3, like 1 or 2 more Zelda things between Wind Waker, Twilight Princess on the bingo card. So maybe that's enough Zelda.
I think that's probably enough Zelda.
All right, so you know what? All right, so then let's move on to something else that is. I just decided I don't like that spot for 2D Zelda.
Yeah, that's not where I thought you were gonna put it in one space to the right of that.
And I spent so much time centering it. So yeah. No, you think it should be in the middle?
Yeah. I don't know why it didn't click with me that you would put it in a different spot than I wanted when you were doing that.
So
yeah, that's
right. So all right, cool. We're good though. We're good. All right. Do we want to put Metroid Prime 4 in this column here?
Yes. I think we're both very confident that it's going to show, right?
Yeah. So
think we'll see it.
here's my thing. All right. I would say I'm pretty convinced in Mario Party and 2D Zelda, right?
Yeah.
Fire Emblem.
We might want to switch Fire Emblem up for something else.
I could see the thing about Fire Emblem, right? Is that like, well, I do believe it's real. I believe it. We're gonna get that announcement. It's something I could easily see Nintendo saving for another time. You know, I could easily see them saving that for an announcement for sometime next year. But let's remind ourselves that Switch 1 is still going to get games. And whatever comes to Switch 1 will still be available for Switch 2. So, yeah. It doesn't have to be everything that's been in development for Switch 1 will be in this Direct. So, I can... I think maybe we should consider... Like, it's not that Fire Emblem's a bad prediction. I think it's a good one. I'm just not as... you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I want to run the risk of derailing the entire column, because this could be our W column, you know. And yeah, so I'm not sure.
I don't think there's anything else we have on the board right now that would really warrant replacing it, though. So maybe we should just keep that in mind.
What are you more confident in, Metroid Prime 4 or Fire Emblem Remake in the Direct?
Oh well, Metroid Prime 4, but I don't think that there's... I mean, we still have an extra spot on that we can fit that in, and then we can work out what we want to do with Fire Emblem later.
All right, well, then let's talk about where we're putting Metroid Prime 4 then. All right, that's why I came to this. Like, I was thinking, do we put Metroid Prime 4 here at the bottom to complete the middle column? I think yes. And what's interesting about this row here is that NSO updates, I think, is still a pretty likely kind of like prediction. So we can still turn this bottom row here into a pretty like solid row. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you agree with Prime 4 here then?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do something a little like, you want to put like Metroid Prime 2 here? Because Metroid Prime 2, I would argue, is almost more likely than Metroid Prime 4.
I feel more confident in Prime 4 than Prime 2, just because I don't think they necessarily have to do 2 and 3 if they don't want to.
Sure.
But I do think that they are gonna do 2 and 3, so it's kind of pretty close though. But I wouldn't put it up more likely than Prime 4, maybe a little less, but around the same.
So Leon provides an interesting perspective here. Leon Kennedy GameCat says Prime 4 in a corner. Corners have 3 win lines, best open spots on the board.
Facts. I think 2D Zelda should be in a corner as well then. I mean, we can change.
Okay, no, but I see
Metroid
where you guys
Prime
are trying.
4 in the bottom left, and we put 2D Zelda up to the top right.
They can share an ultimate W. I feel that. Do you want to put Mario Party in the other corner then? Like, let's, you know? Or are we not that convinced about a new Mario Party?
I'm very convinced about a new Mario Party. But I kind of want to put it on the same row. Because that's another... I feel like Mario Party, 2D Zelda, and Metroid Prime 4 are, like, guaranteed in my eyes. They're the only ones I'm super confident about in this Direct.
Okay.
So we just need one more that we're like, yeah, this is definitely going to be here. And then we can get that diagonal as a very good chance. And then also have those other 3 or the 2 directions. And we can put our least likely things in the...
all right, I got one for you. You ready? You ready?
Okay.
Among Us.
No!
Among Us.
Yo!
There will be an Among Us update in the Direct.
Yes, sir. We've got it. All right, now put Mario Party in that list. Oh, bro, we're getting a bingo. We're definitely getting a bingo.
This is the bingo right here. Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
Now we just gotta go for a double bingo.
I know some of you are not excited about an Among Us update, but we're just trying to get it right? Like, we literally have a leak. Ben just is saying that's sus. I feel you. That's hilarious. Like it was leaked for the 18th, right? So makes sense. Okay. I now all of a sudden feel better about Fire Emblem being in the middle because it's not in. I mean, we may still move it, but
I think we should move Mario Sports now, so it's not on the same line as Mario Party. Maybe move it to where
Okay.
Mario Party was.
Was Mario Party
Above Fire Emblem?
here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm liking this. Feeling it. Still a lot of spaces left to put.
Yeah.
We should maybe try to think of some third-party games that are likely for Switch 1.
Hey, I said Among Us.
Well, yeah, but other than that.
Sure.
What are some that have been announced that might get like an update?
Maltologist just brought up Epic Mickey Rebrushed.
Yeah, we could see another update for that for sure. Get a release date for that. Do we have one yet? I don't think so.
Let me double check. Epic Mickey. Do we have a release date? Sometime in 2024. So
Okay.
actually,
Probably we'll see that then.
Oh yeah, like that makes a lot of sense. Actually, yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Okay.
Oh.
So where do we put it?
Okay. Where do we put it?
Do we put it in the corner? Are we so confident? Like, we do need an update for it, right?
It's pretty good.
But, like, they could just announce, they can give it, I think it's, I don't know if I want to put it in a corner just because, like, I don't, it's a random third party game. You know what I mean? Like, but
maybe
that
we
doesn't
should
mean.
Put it one space down from that corner.
Do you want to put it here? Right here?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. It feels like something that could be in a column with Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, sure.
Fire
whatever.
Emblem and Mario Party on that column, it's pretty good odds too.
Yeah, all right. With that said, there's another game I actually expect an update for in this direct.
Okay.
Sonic Shadow Generations.
Yes, I was gonna say that. I saw somebody in the chat. We probably mentioned that one. We should definitely see that. I really hope they confirm it's 60 FPS and not 30, like the last Sonic games on Switch.
So, in an effort to give maybe this column here some more strength and also maintaining a strong bottom row here, maybe we put Sonic Shadow Generations right here in the bottom middle.
Fine with that.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna put Sonic Shadow because that's a hell of a name. I don't. Do we even mention the X? Do we call it Shadow X or Shadow Cross? Like I don't know.
We know what we mean. We know what we mean.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
All right. So Sonic Shadow is definitely there. Let me see something here real quick. Boo Mini with a super chat. Thank you for super chat, Boo Mini. Boo Mini says, "Can we get Joycey J on the line for the bingo brainstorming discussion if she's available? The three of you getting ideas down would be great." Hey, I would love for Joycey J to come in for a bit. I always love hearing her perspective. I don't know if she's available. Is she in the chat right now? I haven't seen her, but
I haven't seen them.
Joycey, feel free to message me on Discord or Twitter if you're available. I'd love to have you on. So if she's available, it'd be great to have her.
Cody B mentions
Joycey is available. Okay, so Joycey, sure. Let me see if I can. Do I follow you on Twitter or on Discord? I don't remember. What were you saying, Brandon? As I multitask.
Somebody mentioned Fantasy Life. I was looking to see if we had a release date for it yet, but we already do. So we might see that in like a little sizzle reel. But otherwise, I don't expect to see too much more on that.
Give me a minute here while I add Joycey.
Go.
You see. Oh, okay. I thought the Discord was showing up on the stream, but it's not. I'm installing updates apparently. Shows how often I use Discord on my computer.
They
almost
update
done.
it pretty often.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. Yeah,
I get like every day, and it's always updating.
Everything's updating all the time, and it annoys me.
Yeah.
That annoys me. All right. Okay, I have found Joycey. All right, Joycey, if you can hear me, I'm gonna send you a link so you can jump into StreamYard. I'm pretty sure I've used StreamYard before, so shouldn't be too
Even if
much.
they hadn't, it kind of
Yeah.
sets itself up.
You can go on camera or off camera, whatever is easier for you. But I'm sending the link now, and just jump in when you can. All right, so where are we at here, bro? We might need Joycey to settle this debate because the poll for do we bundle Wind Waker and Twilight Princess for the bingo or keep them separate, it's literally
Jesus.
split
Yep.
50-50. We have 130 votes and it is split 50-50. Come on. Like,
Come
I
on,
don't
guys.
know what's it. I don't know.
Almost 100 people haven't voted. Get those votes in.
I have a consideration here. I have a consideration. What if we do all of it? What if we have one slot for Wind Waker, one slot for Twilight Princess, and one slot for bundle?
Maybe if we get really desperate for slots.
The thing is, I don't think we're going to be desperate for slots if we account for some like likely third-party announcements, you know.
Yeah.
But darn, it's wild that it is wild that it was split 50-50 after 130 votes. It is so crazy. But we'll leave it up for a little while longer. Let's let this rivalry stew. All right. So, Brandon, what were you thinking? It approaches just mentioned Pokemon ZA. I think that's a one we should put in here. I almost want to put it in this corner.
Okay, you're very confident on it. I mean, I think we'll probably see something from Pokemon Company. Lately they've been in the directs more often. But I mean, the game, there's no real necessary need for them to show it off now.
You know what? I changed my mind.
It comes out next year, and we don't know when.
I changed my mind.
Could be late next year. But we could just put Pokemon if we want to just be more safe.
Pokemon something. That's extremely safe. But I'm going to put Metroid Prime 2 here.
I mean, fair, they don't have to show anything.
Yeah, I'm still... Wind Waker HD is still in limbo, but I'm leaving it limbo over here. But do
There's
you
no
disagree with my
need for
Metroid Prime 2 take in this corner?
No, I'm fine with that. Metroid Prime 2. If they show Metroid Prime 4, I probably 2 as well. Probably before.
Sure, but see, here's the cool thing about that, right? Prime 2, still in the same column as Prime 4, right? We're double downing there. But also, Metroid Prime 2, 2D Zelda, like, I feel like in the same row. Like, I think that makes sense.
Very good.
Okay, so that was my thinking there. Prime 3, I'm not saying... Prime 3, I'm a little bit less convinced than Prime 2. Just because I feel like they can keep them separate. I'm not saying we can't put Prime 3 in the bingo, but I feel like there's so many other things we could include that it might be more fun to just, you know, read between the lines. You know, if Prime 2 is coming, Prime 3 is kind of happening eventually, you know? So I'll kind of table it if we're running out of, like, you know, ideas here, but I don't think we will run out of ideas. But back to Pokemon. I think... So you want to keep it simple. But, you know, I mean, also, it could be 2 slots, right? I don't know. Like, because they could announce a Pokemon spinoff, right?
Yeah.
But also, I don't... To your point, or to my point of just, like, wanting to kind of save some slots just so this is more fun, maybe we do just put Pokemon. Or we go ballsy and just take the risk and put Legend ZA, and if it's something else Pokemon, we just get it wrong. Or we guess something else interesting Pokemon. So.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they don't have to show ZA yet. In fact, the Pokemon Company has no obligation to show anything here if they want to do their own event. And we don't know when Pokemon Legends ZA is coming out.
Though. I see where you're coming from with that. But, we haven't got any Pokemon Presents yet. Like we've got one in the beginning of the year, but there's oftentimes like a second update, right? A second one,
Yeah.
and that hasn't happened yet. But it's also kind of too late. Like usually it happens before the direct. Like when we get that next bout of Pokemon news, it's this time. So
Yeah, usually.
now some of you are saying that ZA is like a second half of 2025 game. Like Matthew Ray says, allegedly Z is the second half. I don't remember ever seeing anything that said second half. All we know is that it's not early 2025.
Yeah.
Like,
I would
so like,
hope if it's not
they,
early, that they're not doing something else in the holiday, and it will be the holiday game.
I'm just saying that like ZA could come out in April, like that's not, or May. Like, I don't think that's out of the question. And if it's coming out, or even summertime, right? Like if it's coming out in like sometime between April through August, like they could conceivably give us footage here, right?
We haven't seen anything of the game. Maybe they do want to show it off on Switch 1, because I definitely think there's going to be a Switch 2 version with a whole host, hopefully, of benefits play on that version, but they still need to show the
but
Switch
also
1
this
version
is
as
Game
well.
Freak we're talking about, right? So like, while I don't necessarily disagree that there would be I think there could be a cross-gen version, right? Like I've definitely campaigned for that, but I also think like it's not going to be like the version would be like 4K with like less frame rate problems,
Yeah, but I
like
mean, to be
it's
fair,
not going
like,
to be like a dramatic. I don't expect it to be like have a lot more like work put into it, if that makes sense.
no, I don't expect a lot of extra work. I just expect the port to be a lot better, just because it won't be constrained.
Well, yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, we've seen just
Joyce is here.
huge amounts of issues on the Switch versions of the games.
Hello there, Joycey. Can you hear me?
So
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Fabulous.
Okay. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. Obviously, I was not prepared.
No, we're good. No, yeah, I was like, all right, well, if Joyce wants to come on, I'd love to have her on. Yeah. But Joycey, we're having some issues here. We got several issues, and I know you're gonna want to talk about the Zelda issue, right? But before we get to the Zelda issue, Brandon and I are kind of like, oh, should we include Legend ZA in our bingo? Should we not? Like, where do you stand on this? Do you think Pokemon is going to have a presence in this direct?
I mean, maybe, but since we just got that announcement, unless they have something to show us, I really wouldn't count on it. I don't think we're going to see anything Pokemon until 2026. Now, granted, in my defense, I am not a Pokemon fan. Sorry, y'all, forgive me. I know it's blasphemy. So I don't keep up with Pokemon as much. That's just what I think. But I'm probably not the best person to have an opinion on Pokemon.
All right. So I think what we're going to do, I think Legend ZA has a good chance to be in the direct, despite both of you disagreeing with me.
No, I don't disagree. I agree with everything Andres says. I'm just letting you know that I'm probably not the best person to share that particular opinion.
No,
but whatever Andres says is right.
Well, that's also not necessarily true. But I'm going to compromise here, and I'm just going to do Pokemon because I think it is reasonable to expect another Pokemon update of some kind, because typically we get a second update this time of the year. We've seen them trending more and more towards having their updates in directs as opposed to separate presents. And since there hasn't been any presents announced yet, I'm kind of thinking that if there's a Pokemon update, we're going to see it in this direct. I think there's a great chance we do see an update on Legends ZA this year. This direct may be it, but of course they could wait later into the year. To your points, to some of those in the chat and yours, Brandon,
it'd be nice
further out.
If it is shown off later in the year, that just kind of suggests they don't have anything or they don't want to show anything off too soon, which would maybe suggest they're putting more time into it than usual. So I kind of don't I kind of hope to not see it, or if we do see it, then obviously I hope to see it in a good state, because I don't want them to show off something rushed again.
I'm gonna do something here. Tell me I'm wrong. That's it. I'm putting Pokemon here.
That's
yay.
Sure. I don't have a problem with that.
I don't either.
Just make it a little
I mean, you
smaller.
could.
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
no, I'm fine with that. I mean, you could have put it one space up, but
Here?
like there. It depends on how confident we are on it being there.
You know, I kind
Because
of
the
like. I kind of.
Xeno Warriors and NSO updates are very well, relatively unlikely compared to the other things we have on here.
Oh
So
yeah.
Pokemon
It's
seems pretty
we
likely.
do this. We complete this diagonal. This diagonal. Well,
That'd be crazy.
it'd be
That'd
crazy.
be wild.
I feel much better about this diagonal than I do about this one. That's for certain. But the thing is, because Xeno Warriors is here, it doesn't matter. Like I could put like a shoe in here. Xeno Warriors is still here. Like this entire line is basically dependent on like this has to be a.
It's all
like,
the weakest link.
It is the weakest link in my mind. So you know.
I do think we'll get Xenoblade. I just don't know about Xeno Warriors. But I do think something Xenoblade might be there. This is based on nothing.
Yeah. So I was arguing earlier that we won't because I think this is a year that Monosoft takes a break. The only way I see them having a presence is through like a Xeno Warriors, or like a.
I'm thinking it's already finished. That's why I say that.
Well,
whatever.
Maybe you're right, and so that would be maybe like a port of Xenoblade X. But we kind of went through discussion that it probably like if they do a definitive edition. Brandon and I think that would be like a visual overhaul. In other words, they would need a more powerful console to do it, since the Wii U is only a little bit weaker than the Switch. So either they're doing like a deluxe and not a definitive edition, or we're just waiting for it. So, yeah. But I kind of I don't know with the Pokemon thing. You know, there's something about having Pokemon, Zelda, and Metroid in the same row. It just feels right to me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It just does. Maybe I'm crazy there.
We're all a little crazy.
Yes, Wily Tiger. I'm overthinking everything here. Every step, every waking moment is overthinking. But you know what? Since I'm crazy and we're already gunning it with Xeno Warriors, let's go ahead and put Silk Song right here.
No.
Oh God, yes.
No. Because
Yes.
wouldn't that have already been in one of the other directs, Xbox?
Not necessarily.
Depends.
There's a debate.
I do think indie games do better on Switch than they do on Xbox.
Yeah, some people
I
think
agree with that.
Silk Song would for some reason that they have advertising rights because there's a on the Microsoft Shop, Silk Song is there and rated. I don't know if that means there's advertising rights necessarily. Like, for example, right? We're talking about this Among Us thing, right? It's going to happen on the 18th apparently because there was a leak for it. Like, supposedly we're thinking it'll be in the direct. None of us are doubting this update's going to come to other platforms, right? But they're saving the announcement for apparently the direct. So, like, you know, I think the same logic would apply to something like Silk Song. So, hey, this is not necessarily a prediction, right? It's something that we think could happen that could be in the bingo card. But, you know, I think we got to put it in. It's a bingo card. It's Silk Song. It's got to be somewhere here, even if we know it's going to be wrong. So I'm putting it in this diagonal. It already has Xenoblade Warriors. It's already a punt. So, or do you, Brandon? Do you think we should put it somewhere else?
Sorry, I was looking up something about Hollow Knight. What?
Oh, where should we put Silk Song? I was going to put in this
Silk Song?
diagonal and just go
Or
for the
Silk
punt.
Song? Yeah, not Hollow Knight. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess it is Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, so I was correct. No, I'm fine putting it there just because there's a lot of other like kind of more out there things in that column. The only thing is that like left to right is pretty strong otherwise though. But
Okay.
I mean, you can't get everything to be solid.
Yeah, we can always come back and move some things around if we have to. Right. We'll have a look over and we'll debate some things. But
Silk Song is interesting though because while it is, I don't know if they have rights to it. We do know that it will be on like Game Pass day one, so they're paying to sponsor the title at least to some degree. and getting it on Game Pass. So and I feel like the last time we saw it was in either like a Summer Game Fest maybe, or a Microsoft presentation.
Okay.
But I don't remember the last time we saw new information about that game in a direct.
Yeah, I don't know. But we're putting it in here anyway. We have to. It's tradition.
Facts.
But Joycey, right?
Mhm.
Something that I think you'll definitely have an opinion on here, right? So we've
I
had
got
this
an opinion
poll up.
on everything.
Oh, I think you'll have a strong opinion on this one, right? So I put up a poll half an hour ago, right? We're currently at 183 votes. Do we bundle Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD for the bingo, or do they have separate slots? And right now it's 49-51. It is so close. It has stayed close this entire time. It's been basically 50-50. We still have not decided if we're going to have Wind Waker and Twilight Princess have their own separate bingo slots, or do we put them as a single bundle on the bingo? What do you think?
Okay, let me talk through this because I have a lot of thoughts on this.
Oh, I'm sure you do. I'm ready to hear it.
On one hand, I don't. It's Zelda, right? So Wind Waker and we're talking about Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, right?
Yeah.
Wind Waker, I think, has a better chance of coming to Switch. Because in my honest opinion, Wind Waker looked beautiful when it originally came out. Wind Waker HD looks even more beautiful. How much more beautifuler do we really want it to be? Okay. I'm sure Brandon's better on text and tech stuff, so he can probably give a better breakdown on that. But how much prettier does it need to be? That. Okay. See how much prettier does it need to be? They probably got that on a shelf somewhere. Say, oh, okay, yeah, give him this. Twilight Princess and I say this, y'all know I'm a hardcore Zelda fan. Twilight Princess looked grainy at the beginning, looked grainy on the Wii. It looks grainy-ish on the HD version. In my opinion, Twilight Princess needs to be rebuilt from the ground up. And in order for it to go on Switch or Switch 2. My humble, nobody listens to me opinion, okay? Because as Twilight Princess is my top 5. I'm always gonna love it. It's fine for me the way it is, but in order for me to pay another $60 and enjoy paying another $60 or $70, it needs to be completely rebuilt. So I have a lot of other thoughts on why the dev team made it the way they made it and why it's grainy, because it really shouldn't have been that grainy in the first place, but whatever. I think that one needs more work. And because it's Zelda, I just don't see them, and they have done it before with Ocarina of Time and the Majora's Mask, but I don't see them putting those two really, really big signature of games. They're very, very different in a way as far as the 3D versions of Zelda are concerned. So I don't see them bundling it. Would it be a good deal? Period. Whether they do any work to them or not, put them in a bundle for $60-$70. Oh yeah, I'm all over that. I'll buy that. That's just for the convenience factor. But if you're going to sell me individually one or the other, or both separately, for full price, Twilight Princess better be rebuilt from the ground up. I don't care how much I love Zelda. I'm not buying this shit. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just not buying it. So my vote is for Wind Waker HD. And I think
yes, you agree with me.
So you think?
And for the record, yes, I do. And for the record, I actually, because I was running around here trying to find my laptop charger, I actually didn't hear a lot of the debate y'all were having. I just know what I had to talk about. And I was like, okay, I know what I have to talk about.
That's fine.
So I don't agree or disagree with anybody. Love and respect and peace and blessings to everybody.
We're all good.
Okay.
So
I'd say I generally agree with pretty much everything.
I mean, I think it's very sound, reasonable thinking. I am going to provide counter arguments, though.
Yay!
Right? Okay.
All right. So, first off, when Andy Robinson talked about this, he talked about both Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. They were both discussed in the same time. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be bundled, right? But they were discussed at the same time. And I do think that if we're going to see these games, again, on Switch, they would have to. Well, okay, Wind Waker I could see coming out on its own. To your point about Twilight Princess, I kind of agree, right? How and I mean,
Give us a remake.
I'll also note that with Twilight Princess, right, it wasn't developed by Nintendo; it was outsourced. The HD remaster was by Tantalus, right? Wind Waker was made internally.
Fire all of them.
So there's a little bit of a difference there, right? That said, you know,
they needed a bigger budget.
Looking at just like how Nintendo tends to handle re-releasing their reworks, they tend to do something different. They don't just rehash the same thing after it's already been reworked. So like you look at Mario 64, Mario 64 DS, Mario 3D All Stars. Mario 64 was repurposed a second time, but when it was a part of a collection, right? Or you look at like Metroid Prime, right? Metroid Prime on GameCube, Metroid Prime re-released on Metroid Prime Trilogy on Wii, and then it was repurposed again in a different way for Metroid Prime Remastered. So in the case of Twilight Princess, originally GameCube, right? But then also remastered for Wii U, Twilight Princess HD. Even if we don't like how it was done, it was still remastered.
Mhm.
And so if we see it again, I think it would have to be reworked in some way. Maybe to your point, we see it down the road years from now where it's remade, right? Completely overhauled, right? Or
Wii U Tech Demo.
Or it's part of a collection. Same logic applies with Wind Waker. And something else I'll note is that Midori recently did allude to how, she doesn't know what's going on with Twilight Princess HD, but the way it was phrased, it was implied that they knew of its existence. They just don't know why Nintendo hasn't released it yet. So we have different sources. Like, it's not that they don't exist. That doesn't mean they're going to come out. They could be shelved forever and definitely canceled. But I think both need to be in this bingo, right? So this is where I'm going to compromise. I think I'm going to put them as separate slots, but I'm going to have the slots next to each other. Does that make sense? So it's accounting for both possibilities, because if they're bundled, right, then they're both in the direct technically, right? So then they could still be a part of the same row or column. So now with that in mind, where do we put Wind Waker and TPHD? It can't touch anything 2D Zelda, right? So it can't be in the rightmost column or the top row, right? So we're running based off the spots we have here. We're actually running out of space.
It has to be in the left.
It would either have to be in the left or in the middle.
I feel like.
Well, if you want them both side by side, then and not touching 2D Zelda, I think it would have to be in the left column, right?
Yeah.
Do you care if they touch each other? As weird
they have to touch each other.
Well, my thinking is that they have to be somewhat connected.
So either they have to be there or they have to be in the left column. They can only be in the middle or the left.
We move something around.
Yeah, unless we move something.
Yeah.
I mean, can you put them in the same box and then it just counts if we get one or the other or both? Or I guess no. You can put WW or TP.
Yeah. That's going very broad. We've had this mega poll that's at 50-50 with 193 votes. This for the last 38 minutes.
Still at 50-50.
Yeah, I feel like if I just put an or and say, hey, everyone's right, I feel like, I don't know.
Separate is barely up, guys. No, not back to 50-50. What are you doing? I swear they're trying to keep it at 50-50. I swear.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you guys conspiring against us?
I'm not.
Okay.
No way.
I'm okay because I'm okay with putting them in the same slot because technically Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, Twilight Princess is right after Wind Waker, technically. So
I'm ending the poll. Let's see what happens. Whatever it is, what it is.
I'm gonna vote.
Oh,
then.
crap.
It didn't pick one to win.
It's exactly 50-50.
It's exactly.
Wait, you should be able to break down the amount of votes, though, right? There should be a way to see the exact amount of votes.
Well, there's an even amount of votes.
Really? There's actually an even amount? Oh my god.
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Like literal 50-50.
Yeah, but I thought they were rounding it or something.
There's nothing to round.
Damn it!
I mean, the moment, you can't. It's 50-50. It technically
we do neither. We only put Wind Waker.
You know what? If you put Which one? Okay, let me ask y'all this: which one would you rather see?
I think Wind Waker is more likely. If we're only gonna see one,
I mean, I think we
Let's
agree
see
that
Wind
Wind Waker. If we have to pick one, I pick Wind Waker.
Okay,
If
so
we have
put Twilight Princess HD on the bingo card, and we'll end up with Wind Waker, and vice versa. Murphy's some kind of
God.
Murphy's law, one of them philosophical laws, some shit.
well then we're guaranteed. Are we betting on getting it wrong?
I don't know. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to please everybody, I guess. Ian Holt wants Twilight Princess.
Twilight
Ian
Princess.
Holt's just like, please.
I will put
Should've
Twilight,
voted. Should've
Twilight
gone to a
Princess
separate account
will
and
be
voted
on the
3
bingo.
times.
It's going to be on the bingo, even though it may not be in the direct. It is going to be on the bingo. I just trying to decide where we're putting it on the bingo. That is all. It's going to
However,
be on the bingo.
wait, I have another argument, a good one.
Okay.
So I'm arguing for the chat now, because I don't care. I'm happy. I got 2 big ass Zelda games in one generation of Switch. I'm content. But let's say they don't bundle them, but they still release them individually, and they announce it in the direct. Not only can you have Twilight, the Wind Waker, and sail the Hyrule seas, you can also, have Twilight Princess, a dark gritty tale with Midna and Shadows and Ganon's in there.
They're both. I would count that. Whatever. Like releasing both are on this at the same time. Like that to me, it's the same difference.
But it's not a bundle. So which means we'll be paying $60 a pop versus a bundle, which we will probably be paying $70 maybe.
Definitely don't think that's
maybe 50 a piece.
So this is what I did.
Maybe they'll compromise.
If they leave it as is, it deserves to be 40. I'm sorry.
This way, both these Zelda games avoid the 2D Zelda, right? They don't touch them, so they don't get in the way of each other, right? They can exist separately in these columns, but they also share a row.
Okay.
And there you go.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, that's a good compromise.
Sure.
Yeah,
I think that.
So that way, for those that are rooting for the bundle, here's your chance, right? And we'll try and put 2 things here on the sides that make it pretty likely. And if they're separate, they're separate. And there we go.
We got 9 slots off the fill now.
Now, my question is, do we want to put, I don't know, because Silk Song, both Univary, they're both stretches, so whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, they're good to be on the same row.
Yeah. So I got another cheat. I don't know if you call it a cheat, but this is something that was leaked by Midori. Dragon Quest 1 through 3 HD2D needs to be on here.
I agree.
That's like the one thing that we can say with confidence is going to be in the direct if we trust Midori. So,
well, yeah. I mean, we didn't see anything of it in the other presentations.
Yeah. So I think, and this is like the least filled column, and I want this column to have something good. So I think this is a great way to continue. So Dragon Quest.
Somebody in the chat said this sounds like a SAT question.
Which one?
Shout out to Brett. He said that, or she. Sorry.
I just put DQ Quest. I'm so lost. Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest.
Yeah, that I could honestly see that being a name for a game at some point. But
oh my god,
I'm putting just Dragon Quest. But you all know what I'm referring to.
Square.
You all know. Oh my god.
Jesus.
Yeah. All right. There we go. So Dragon Quest is in there. I think we're there are some columns that I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't put any stock in that. But there are some others I'm like, all right, this could be pretty good. Like left column, I feel good about that right now. Right column, I feel pretty good about that. This diagonal is an epic diagonal, right? This diagonal, no,
it's a reach.
No, but if it's right, oh my god! All right, so
does Metroid 3 need to be on there?
I was tabling it because I feel like if you Prime 2 kind of comes to the implication that 3 is gonna happen at some point, so like
what is the other one we had tabled?
I don't even remember, Brandon.
Chat help.
I don't remember what else we tabled. I'm not sure.
We tabled something else.
I forgot too.
There are other things, like I'm sure there's some other third-party stuff we could mention, but we have a few. Among Us, Silk Song, Sonic, Shadow Generations, Dragon Quest, right? But
farming sims.
More farming sims. Oh, it's such a boring one, but it also is likely.
Somebody said that in the
like
chat. I think it was Stinga16 if they're still in here.
It's
and I'm
definitely
like,
a really good
that's got to be a
prediction.
guarantee. Yes. So at least
But-
you'll be right on one and free space.
All right, so
At
let's go.
least.
Let's go crazy. Let's go crazy. All right, so Star Fox. Put in Star
Jesus.
Fox. Here we go. Star Fox.
I
putting it
really don't think we're gonna see
Starfix.
Star Fix. You gotta
Star
fix the
Fix.
franchise.
Yes.
The franchise with Star Fox. I'm putting it in a. Oh, but you know what? I don't want to put it down here. I feel like This could be a really good
It's a
likely
good
row,
call.
and I don't
Yeah,
want to
good row,
botch
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Oh, but the
thing
middle
is-
column's good too.
Right column, I think.
I don't. Do we
Oh, no,
need
wait,
Star
no, I
Fox?
don't.
Maybe Star Fox should just not be in the bingo card.
Do we need? I don't think it's likely at all. Like, I think if they're gonna do something with Star Fox, they'll wait for Switch 2.
I'll put over here,
Oh god,
over there.
the secret
Okay.
6.
All right. What about F-Zero? F-Zero GX remaster. That's been rumored.
Okay.
That's been
That's a
rumored for a
good one.
while, though. But that
It
is a
has
good
been.
one.
I think that's something they could make look great on Switch, and they don't need to wait till Switch 2, and it could excite the hardcore fan base and maybe draw in some new fans to that series.
All right.
We had F-Zero 99. You know, they feel like they're gonna follow that up with something.
And I've made the argument that it makes sense to put out a Nintendo racer before the next Mario Kart comes out. So if the next Mario Kart's coming out next year, maybe we get like F-Zero before then. Oh, you can make the argument. Let's say Mario Kart's a holiday title. Maybe a new F-Zero comes out like in April next year for Switch 2. Like that's also a possibility. But or it doesn't have to be F-Zero, but just some kind of racer. Like Nintendo's done that before. Wave Race Blue Storm, for example. That's one.
That could be a good one for Switch 2. Get some water physics simulations.
Right. So, man, that would be so cool. But yeah, so F-Zero then. You guys want to put F-Zero here? You think F-Zero deserves
I think
a spot in the bingo?
I mean,
think
we can.
so.
I think it's definitely way, way more likely than Star Fox. I'll say that.
And I would put it in the bottom row only because that would still be a banger direct.
It would be a banger direct.
Shoot, all of these would make
F-Zero.
banger directs, actually.
We could put F-Zero the bottom, that left one that's open below Among Us, right there. Could be a good spot for it.
I think my confidence is shaky, and like I see this bottom row, and I'm like, oh, it has potential to be like a shoot, like assuming, of course, we're making these.
We could put the one to the left of Among Us.
I don't know, like I'm giving up something no matter what, right?
Yeah,
Like-
but I feel like it's still pretty likely. I mean, it's been
right.
rumored for a long time. They've been building up hype for F-Zero with F-Zero 99.
Okay.
It makes sense for this to come out for Switch 1 and
Okay.
not even as like a cross-gen thing.
All right.
Do we
F-Zero.
think anything? Is there anything left to get DLC?
I don't think so.
know.
I've
So-
been thinking about that past few
Yeah.
days, and I don't
All right,
know
well-
what they could add it to, but
right.
Octopath Traveler just got another update. I haven't played it yet, but it got a new battle mode. So
Okay.
Octopath Traveler.
yeah, I know that's third party. That's not
Yeah.
Nintendo.
I mean, so
But-
yeah, that they, could we see third party DLC? Sure, but I don't even know what I would predict for that.
Oh,
for,
there was
like-
another third-party game that is likely to be shown. That Lego Horizons game that got announced to Switch. I don't
You
think
think-
they'll
Oh,
talk
yeah.
more about
I
it,
don't-
but it will probably end up in a sizzle reel of some point. Like it will probably be there in some capacity.
I guess it could be in the sizzle reel. Yeah, I mean, if Nintendo's gonna put it's gonna post about it on Twitter. It could make. Okay, you're right. I agree. I don't like it, but you're right. So Lego Horizon, where do we put it? I think it's a good prediction. Like it's better than
Right,
F-Zero.
Which row is a possible guaranteed row? That's where I would put it.
I would say here on the right is really strong. This right column is very strong.
Let's put it on the.
But top or
Oh,
bottom?
right. And
You will-
I would
you
put
wanna-
it there,
Here?
right under 2D Zelda, right under.
Oh,
2D
right
Zelda.
here. Because this. I mean, the thing
I
is,
was also thinking about
both
that
these
one.
rows are probably wrong, but this column here, right? At least this column. All right, so Lego Horizon. I can't spell. All right, Lego Horizon. Yeah, it doesn't excite me, but it's definitely a good prediction.
Yeah, but you haven't played Lego games, so you don't understand the amazingness of a Lego game.
You're right. I'm a terrible person. I agree.
I am too, Andres, because I haven't played a Lego game before
Yeah.
either.
Us terrible people.
My
Unite.
childhood me would
Okay.
shame you so hard.
Yeah, but the problem is, childhood me is still older than you. So
Oh.
I'm older than Zelda.
Dang.
Things that are older than Joycey, Dirt and God.
Okay, we got I'm gonna take a quick break, just to show some super chats here.
Okay.
Wiley Tiger, been a member for 3 straight months. Good to have you, buddy. Perfect Dark on NSO or Diddy Kong Racing.
It's more specific to the.
Those are
NSO
more
update.
specific. Yeah, I think those could fall under NSO updates. If we're running out of slots, I will consider those. Those are definitely good considerations. Which I'm definitely hoping that we get those. Good
Perfect
suggestions.
Dark would
there.
make a lot of sense.
It really would. So would Diddy Kong Racing, by the way. Iron Templar with a super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Iron Templar says GameCube and Wii games available on Switch. Add it. As in for NSO.
I see that. Super unlikely for the Switch generation.
More GameCube and Wii remasters. Yes, I think Nintendo's gonna be careful about doing that for NSO because they have a treasure trove of games that they can sell for $60 to $70 for years to come first. But at some point, I do think we can see them.
Yeah.
Natsu has renewed their membership 2 straight months. Glad to have you. Nishwick Pops as well for 17 months. Always good to have you as well. And Nintendo Prime, what's up, buddy? Here with a super chat.
Yo.
Bingo. Yeah, we're doing a bingo, buddy. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. So here we are. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots left, and I still have like Star Fox just hovering here in the limbo.
Man, I guess we can deal with it once we figure out the other slots, but I really want to get rid of Silk Song just because somebody else in the chat also was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure the last time they showed it off was an Xbox presentation. And
so you're trying to argue we should get rid of Silk Song?
I just feel like if they were going to show it, they would have showed it off the Microsoft presentation, but maybe they do show it off here. It just, it seems like something that's just going to mess up 2 perfectly.
All right, so are you arguing to remove it or to remove
replace it with something
or
else.
to move it?
To remove it.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Yeah, I think a lot of the chat agrees with me.
All right.
I will personally come back and apologize if I'm wrong.
All right. How about this? I am not going to choose to remove it on my own powers. I will leave it to the chat. The chat will decide. We will put a poll.
Okay. Poll. Cool.
Should we remove the unlikely Silk Song for something else? Should we remove the unlikely Silk Song? See, I even tried to load it a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of a.
But if they say no, they say no. The people will have spoken.
Facts, but I feel like they're gonna say yes unless the people who disagree just aren't typing in the chat. Oh, that Nintendo Prime doesn't want it removed.
No, he doesn't.
He's the only one I've seen so far.
He also doesn't care if I get it right. He just wants it to be there.
Now, see, he wants you to get wrong. He's making his own bingo card, and he's trying to sabotage you.
We're not competing this time, so at least
No?
I don't think we are. I don't think we are.
That's what he wants you to think.
We made a bingo last time, but there wasn't a direct. So, yeah.
Can you have a fun space? Something that's definitively going to happen, like definitively? Because I know last time
we got a free spot.
Well, I mean, no, but I mean an actual spot, something that'll definitively happen. One of the last times we did, all you guys did your bingo cards. I know I gave Nate, what's the name of the announcer guy? I forgot his name, but he shows up in a suit or something like that. I forgot what the guy who does the actual Nintendo Direct announcements. Not the announcements, but the actual presenter. What's his name?
Oh,
It's
yeah. I think
usually the
he
guy
works for
who's in charge of Mario, right?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
The
Forget his
host?
name.
I don't know. What's
It's
his
not
name?
Fujiwara.
Yeah, I forget his name, but I'm pretty sure it's that guy. He started doing it after, like, during the beginning of the Switch. He's been doing usually the directs,
Yeah.
but I don't remember his name. I'm super bad with names.
Yoshiaki Koizumi.
Yes.
Ah, okay. So I
Yeah.
know I told Nate, I think it was like one of the last times we had a direct, he will show up in a suit.
Oh yeah, Shinya Takahashi as well.
Or is it? I mean,
Or is it Kazumi?
I think both of
Koizumi.
them have done directs.
Oh yeah, Koizumi is the guy. But who's the other one?
Shinya Takahashi? I'm pretty sure he's done a bunch of them.
Oh yeah,
somebody else.
Yeah, him too. I don't know.
Just put that he'll show up and he'll host.
You know what? I like Shinya Takahashi because you know what Shinya Takahashi also did? He was the one that came on stage that told us the Metroid Prime 4 was getting restarted.
There we go.
Yeah, people in the chat seem to think it's mostly Shinya Takahashi.
I think lately it's been more him. I think Koizumi was early on.
Okay.
And sometimes he joins. They do pair up sometimes, but I think Takahashi. Yeah, so I'm gonna put.
Let me look, cause I'm
gonna put Takahashi in the suit, and I would love it if the direct opens up with him. It's like, hey, as you know, we've been working on Metroid Prime 4 for a very long time. Here's your first look. I might cry. That's how happy I'll be.
He did when they revealed Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm almost like getting emotional just thinking about it, even though it may not even happen.
I came up with the best way. Came up with the best way for them to reveal Metroid Prime 4. Like literally, like what you said, open up and just say, "We know you've been waiting for Metroid Prime 4. Please, wait until later, until we have stuff." And then they give us like Metroid Prime like 2 and 3, and then the whole direct goes by. And then the very last thing is Metroid Prime 4, and he tells us, "Oh yeah, it's later." Or something like
later, like 2 months later. Here you are, the game, or 5 months later. Yeah.
No, for us to get news, he'll tell us at the beginning.
Yeah.
I know you're waiting
at the end of the direct
until later. It's later.
20 minutes later.
It's later, guys.
No, I'm praying for 40 minutes. 40 minutes. We want 40 minutes.
I do think it'll be like 30, 40 minutes.
You're right.
Usually
my math
about that.
I got my candles around my Hylia statue and everything. We 40 minutes.
Nice.
I'm just getting excited thinking about how I'm gonna feel when we see him come out in a suit, and he's like, "So we know you've been waiting a long time for this." Like that moment may finally be about to happen, and I'm emotional thinking about it right now. It's gonna be such a crazy moment. So I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm putting it here in the row that has Prime 4, Metroid Prime 2. Like,
Hey, you know what? And somebody also said if you want to take the Takashi in a suit out, Julian in the chat says a free space for Andres yelling during the direct.
Oh man, if I'm not yelling at the direct, something's wrong. Thanks. Something's wrong. There's gotta be something in there.
I just remember that epic scream from when Tears of the Kingdom was revealed and you had longer hair. That's like whenever I'm having a bad day, I watch I watch reactions to games and stuff like that. They cheer me up.
That was a time.
Yours is one of the reactions I go to.
Yeah, that one was crazy. And I used to freak out about that one because that one went. I mean, it's not viral, but especially then because it was a much smaller channel, it went viral for my standard. And Brandon was just dropping F-bomb after F-bomb, and I was like,
yes.
Oh God, but yeah, it's fun. It's fine.
It was a great moment.
Enjoy that.
It was amazing. It truly was. Yeah.
I was at the nail shop, I think, when they announced it, and I didn't get a chance to watch it until a little bit later, but my flip phone was blowing up, and I was like, "Oh Lord, what happened?" and I went home and watched it, and I was just like,
what's
"Oh
crazy
my
is that we
god!"
didn't expect it. I think that's the other
Nope.
part. We didn't expect it at all, right? Like,
It wasn't even a rumor. It wasn't even a rumor.
Everyone was in agreement. Hey, Zelda probably like years away, and it was, but they decided to show it off years in advance.
Again.
So, yeah.
In their defense, there was a pandemic, and I don't think anybody really knew what to do. They just said Animal Crossing.
Right, they definitely intended on it coming out a lot sooner. But that's just not how it worked out. Anyway, so now we got 5 slots left, right? So this right column right here feels like a slam dunk. I think we need a slam dunk. We got to complete it, right? What do we put here in this spot that's like, yeah, we are getting this column, you know? I don't want to be too cheap either. That there's a, you know, like I don't want to say, oh, the Nintendo Direct is gonna be more than 10 minutes long. Like that's, you know, like probably will be.
40-minute Direct. Excuse me. There we go. That's a space. No, I know you want extra
minutes.
Yeah, because then
I'm a little nervous about that.
Only because it's a general Direct. So here we can see everything, and almost anything is possible because I don't think we know about anything other than Metroid Prime 4, and there's still no guarantee even on that. I don't think there's anything else coming out this year that I know of.
Yeah, I mean, we could put that there'll be an update on the NES, the Super Nintendo World Championships NES edition.
Yeah, we don't. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're right, but also it will be in the Direct. Like, it will be there.
You know, a game we haven't brought up that you have brought up several times in videos and in the podcast before, Tamagotchi Life.
Oh yeah, that's
on
what
the
you
bingo
guys
card.
taped.
I don't feel like it's a slam dunk though. I wouldn't.
No, but
I agree. We can put it in here.
Put it on the bingo card?
Yeah, we can put it in here, but I'm not gonna ruin this right column with it because I'm not that confident in something like that. But I think yes. We should put it. Just not here. Just not here. You can pick any of those spots. Actually, not here either. You get these 3 spots. Take your pick. Which ones do you want? I mean, I could see it here in the middle, right? If we're already going for Fire Emblem.
Yeah, middle's fine.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, we can put it there.
Okay.
I think I spelled Tamagotchi right.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's like Tomodachi.
Tamagotchi, yeah.
Tomodachi. Yeah, if you say it like with an accent, it seems to make more sense. All right.
I thought, isn't a Tamagotchi a thing? Isn't like Tamagotchi supposed to be like Tamagotchi?
Sure.
I can look it up.
So wouldn't it then be pronounced? And it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think it's pronounced Tamagotchi.
Okay.
It is spelled Tamagotchi, but I think you're right. It's pronounced Tamagotchi.
The American box, the American Switch box. This is how it's spelled. That's all I want to know.
I just was
okay. All right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
The spelling is correct.
All right. So here we are. We got 4 slots left. I'm still waiting on that slam dunk spot here. You mentioned the 40-minute thing.
Somebody also suggested Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, but isn't Galaxy in one of the All-Stars games? The
Galaxy
All-Stars
1 is in 3D All-Stars, which was a limited run, which is no longer available for purchase on the eShop. If you might be able to find it somewhere at a store, but probably not.
So could Galaxy 1 and 2 HD be a possibility, or some kind of remaster be a possibility?
I mean, the answer is yes, but is it like
low?
Yeah, I'd rather predict Star Fox than that.
Okay. Because I'm just kind of thinking, like, do
yeah.
we even need any Mario right now that isn't
I
brand
think
spanking new?
I think we're so Mario. We have had so there's been so much Mario. There's not a need for more Mario. We've already got Mario Sports. We already got Mario Party. Like this entire second half, or rather, this last 9 months has been like 80% Mario something. So I think no, but you know.
Oh, Prince. If you want to slam dunk, they'll probably say something about Prince of Persia, because I think that's getting DLC, and then there was an update on Sands of Time too, but that was already that was Xbox Direct, I think.
Yeah,
and that's already on Switch.
I'm not actually necessarily putting Star Fox here, but it does feel good. It does feel good putting it here. It feels good. Feels good, man. You know what? Screw it.
You're crazy.
Star Fox.
Oh, God.
All right. The Prince of
Persia
thing seems kind of like you might be right. I don't know much about it though. So there's already a Prince of Persia. You'll be talking about a DLC update for the current Prince of Persia. Has that already been shown elsewhere? And when they probably mentioned it again during the direct?
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it counts because it's already been announced.
Well, I mean, if they show it in the direct, then the answer is yes.
Oh, bro. Danny Knight just brought up the biggest slam dunk. They could just re-mention Luigi's Mansion 2.
Oh, yeah. All right.
That'd be nice.
So I think I'm stuck between a rock and hard place here because I want to do something that's like, oh, that's really cool. But also I need to put something that I know is going to be there. So like, you know, yeah, I agree. Luigi's Mansion 2, that seems like a given. So, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, let's do that.
I'm reading the chat too. A lot of people want Call of Duty. It's like there's no way that's coming to Switch 1.
Well, not the recent one, but what if they were to give us some sort of older Call of Duty remaster to kind of get the ball rolling on Call of Duty for Switch fans, and then starting with Switch 2, they start releasing just the most modern entries. It's a prediction of mine in my predictions video. That doesn't mean I'm right. But
if it's on Switch 2, I would go with that, but I don't know about Switch 1 at the end.
I'm talking about an old Call of Duty coming to Switch 1.
Bring the 360 games like Black Ops 2. They reopened the servers on that game, so they could just make a Switch version of that game and let you play with the people online.
Yeah, like something like that would be cool. You know, I did predict it, so you know, I technically should be willing to put it in my bingo. You know, this is probably a slam dunk column right here. So now that I got that right, I also have this epic diagonal.
Yes.
I kind of want to put something here that I feel that seems kind of likely. Doesn't have to be a slam dunk of dunks, but something kind of fun, but also seems like a solid prediction. Like, it's Fox. I'm just kidding. Or am I?
I do think maybe we should include Call of Duty, because I feel like they're gonna want to do something for Call of Duty on Switch 1.
You know, we got 3 spots left though, so where do we put it? You know what? Let's live a little. Call Star Fox. Let's think about it. Let's think about a balance here. Where would Star? I mean, if they're gonna put F-Zero, I don't think we get F-Zero and Star Fox, right? So no. So
top.
Yeah. Put on the left, maybe. Oh, the top one? But that one's so good. Mario Sports, Pokemon Prime 2, 2D Zelda. That could be another.
By the way, when I say Star Fox, I'm not saying a new one. I'm thinking like a Star Fox Assault remaster. And the same thing with F-Zero. I'm assuming like an F-Zero GX remaster, right? Like so.
Oh yeah. I guess we could.
Let's just put Star Fox. It all counts.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, looks like we did have a vote to remove Silk Song.
Yes.
So it's 60-40. I'm gonna end the vote. That's enough of a gap. But we gotta put all right, so we're removing Silk Song. Okay, Silk Song's going bye-bye. So do you want to put the Call of Duty thing here? Do you think the Call of Duty thing is more likely than Silk Song?
Probably.
Yes.
Okay. It's still not like a lot more likely, but it's like, all right, okay. And so I am, jeez, I can't. I'll just put COD. Just there, COD.
Yeah, because I think they're gonna want to have Call of Duty on Switch 1 and Switch 2. So even if they were planning on releasing, the latest Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on Switch 2 day and date this holiday, before Switch 2 got internally delayed, I still think they had plans to bring something to Switch 1 this year, so that Switch 1 users would have some Call of Duty to play. There's just such a massive amount of people there. I would be shocked if they didn't try to capitalize on it.
I'm finishing this.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
That's how we say it down south. Donkey Kong.
It's Donkey Kong.
Yeah. I'm just.
It's the remix of Donkey Kong.
I already got one or two rows or columns that are slam dunks, so I'm just I'm going into dream mode here.
Hey, also ideas from the chat. Somebody said Kirby, and I think I might agree with that because what has it been, 2 years?
Wow.
Since Kirby?
Kid,
has it been 2 years?
You know what? Like Kirby.
There is a rumor for Kid Icarus.
So listen, I think Kirby is a solid bet? I totally think Kirby's a solid bet. But do I want to get rid of Star Fox, Kid Icarus, and Donkey Kong for Kirby? Hell no.
Star Fox?
It ain't happening.
Over Kirby?
Hell no.
We haven't got a Kirby spin-off.
This is it.
So we definitely could get something Kirby. I don't think we're gonna get the next mainline game.
Yeah, I think I agree with Brandon. I think that they're working on the next follow-up to Forgotten Land, or I think they're working on the next 3D Kirby, and so I think they're saving that for Switch 2. And I don't think we're seeing it this year, but they could release like a smaller Kirby game. Now the thing is, we did just get Return to Dreamland Deluxe last year. I don't like the idea of them remastering another 2D Kirby back-to-back years. Could there be like an eShop release or a spin-off? Yes. Kirby Air Ride would be crazy. Like that would be a cool remaster. But alas, we're out of spots because I decided to just,
not even ask for our input, Brandon.
Nope, I commandeered.
How dare you?
Yeah, but are you guys mad? Are you guys mad about what I did? Are you mad by me putting Star Fox, Donkey Kong, Kid Icarus? Are you mad?
I'm not happy.
Okay, do you want? I said. All right, you know
Somebody
what?
Think...
Okay. All right, how about this? What if I put all these three into one, where there's like one, Nintendo revives an IP.
Put Nintendo Revival then.
How about that? Is that a good way to kind of include Kid Icarus, Star Fox, and Donkey Kong? Right? Yes. You could technically put F-Zero in that category as well. If we want to really lengthen this, right? We could do that. Do we really want to cut out 4 whole slots here and just be like one? You get one Nintendo Revival.
Wait. No.
No.
So
no, I'm asking no. I'm asking if it's a no. Because I like.
I don't want to get rid of four things at once. It's not necessary.
All right. So do we keep F-Zero, but the other 3 just fall under Nintendo Revival? Because F-Zero's technically been revived with F-Zero 99. Is that a good compromise? So we can still get in that representation for Kid Icarus, Donkey Kong, and Star Fox, while still keeping some slots open for some other things. I mean, I Brandon, you don't seem excited, but I mean, what do you want me to do? You don't want them, but you don't want me to remove them entirely. But something.
I don't know.
I want to vote on one of them to change for Kirby.
So you don't want to do Nintendo? You don't want me to just boil it down to a Nintendo Revival? Actually, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm commandeering.
I said I was fine with that.
Oh, you didn't seem excited about it though. All right, so where do we put Nintendo Revival?
So I would put that in the left-hand column, right where you had it, except it'll be a Nintendo Revival.
And I actually feel good about that prediction. Like that
Okay.
doesn't seem like a bad, like you know.
No, it's pretty
I
good.
think one. It may not be the 3 I mentioned. It might be like, I don't know, like Captain Rainbow, but or whatever. Yeah.
Get rid of free for Kirby. You guys are off your rocker.
Well, we technically have 2 spots now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely think we should put Kirby in one of them.
Put back Silksong.
People also wanted to remove Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, I don't think Call of Duty is the most likely thing ever, but I don't see why they couldn't put Call of Duty on Switch very easily and make a lot of money.
Right. I mean, it's not rumored. It's just Brandon and I think it makes sense. That's literally it. We just think it makes sense.
Will they do it? Who knows?
Probably
but
not.
It would make sense for them to. They
Yeah,
make money.
They would make money. And it wouldn't be that much work because we're talking about a remaster. So Nintendo Revival, right? You guys want to put Kirby. I don't hate that. I don't love that, but I don't
It's
hate
been a while
it.
since we've seen one of those little spin-off games that we usually get like constantly.
Should I put Kirby at the top then? Or do you want the bottom?
I'm fine with the top.
Yeah. Kirby's not a bottom.
That's debatable.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
I don't know.
talking
knows?
nonsense, to be honest with you.
Yeah, don't listen
all right.
to me either.
Yeah, all right. So we got 1 slot left. We fit in, you know, we fit in some things, you know. You guys can't think of anything, so I will. What do you got?
Did we put farming sims on here? I don't think we did.
We did not.
Okay.
Farming could be a good option.
It just feels like
I
we
just
want
want to know
farming
why the
sims?
chat. I just want to know why the chat dislikes Call of Duty as so much as an option. If somebody can give me an actually good reason why you don't think that's going to happen. But as far as farming sims, I mean, they do pretty much always show up. So it's kind of a guaranteed.
It's just boring. That's my own, like, you're right. I agree. It's just boring. But so was Luigi's Mansion. Well, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is at least a game that I'll probably buy. So KAG asks, why no Earthbound? Well, technically I put Nintendo Revival. So
X.
if that falls under that category there. So like anyone that's asking, hey, what about these other Nintendo IP? I put Nintendo Revival. It's unlikely we get more than, I mean, maybe we get a couple. It's possible, but I think we at least get one. And I think that kind of accounts for that.
And for people that are asking like why Call of Duty, is because Microsoft already said that we're going to get probably at least what is it, like a 10-year contract of Call of Duty?
Yeah.
And Brandon's argument is why not bring over the old Call of Duties to get geared up for what's the next Call of Duty, Black Ops 6?
Yeah, that's coming up for current gen
That's going to be,
not counting Switch because it's too weak.
so I could see that being on Switch too, but Brandon made a good argument about how some of the old Call of Duties could be on current Switch. So that's the reason why they picked that. Unless somebody got a better idea, because Brandon makes sense too. Because if we already know we're getting Call of Duty on something Nintendo eventually, and I think it's Switch too.
Yeah. I mean that's why I agree. So
I just think Black Ops 2, I mean, you already have a ton of people playing that online still now. You add that available on Switch, you get a lot more people playing, and it's just easy money.
Ooh. Real J Stone brought this up. Luigi's Mansion 1 HD Shadow Drop.
Yes. You have predicted that before.
I have. We could go more broad.
Predict a shadow drop, though.
We could go more broad and just say a Nintendo shadow drop, because, for example, the Among Us thing is going to be a shadow drop, but will there be a Nintendo published game that gets shadow dropped? And I think there's a solid chance, very solid. So I'm willing to put that for our final spot. What do you guys think? Nintendo Shadow Drop? You want to go more broad or
no,
more
I
specific?
think Shadow Drop's a good one because it's specific to Nintendo. So I think
yeah.
it's still pretty. It's not a guaranteed, but it's
Right.
also like it's a good guess.
I wouldn't want.
I've seen people do a lot cheaper stuff in their bingo cards than this. I'll say that.
Yeah. This one,
I'm also picking. I also like these because I think it would make sense, and it would be a banger, blaze of glory for the Switch to go out on. Really, if we got even 4 or 5 of these items, you know what I mean?
And none of these are even like super big, like AAA projects, other than Prime 4. For the most part,
Yeah.
it's just stuff that's all pretty reasonable to appear. It's nothing crazy, but it's all good stuff. I mean, Xenowars is a little crazy, but
that's why it should stay
not
there.
too-
I like that one.
Yeah, that's probably the craziest one we have on here, other than Takahashi in a suit.
I don't
That's
think
technically another free space.
I mean, yeah. I guess I was thinking like a costume, not like a normal suit. I guess
No,
if
I
you
just-
like a business.
Like I just meant
business
like
casual,
how
yeah.
he's normally dressed when he's on stage.
Okay, yeah, that's a given.
You know
I
what'd
was
be
thinking,
hilarious
him in a
though?
costume.
You know what'd be hilarious though if he doesn't
would
come
be
out in a
funny.
suit. He comes out like in a I don't know, like a Hawaii shirt or something, and you're like,
And jeans.
like shit.
No,
Or if it's or a
He's
nice
like
polo.
Metroid Prime 4 setting's gonna take place on a tropical island, and I'd be like, mother flipper.
he comes
Damn,
in,
No,
like,
that's just
late
where the game
cosplay.
opens. That's just where the game opens.
Yeah, but it'll the big old spot will be wrong because he wasn't in the suit.
Yeah, but you'd have Metroid Prime.
Yeah, I wouldn't care. I got Metroid
Yeah.
Prime. Yeah,
Exactly.
I wouldn't care.
I don't know. I like this. I like your bingo card. I think this works. You have a definitive and possibly Pokemon, possibly Kirby, Lego Horizon, Dragon Quest, NSO update. Oh, well, I think that was a slam dunk. And we're definitely getting a Shadow Drop. So, yeah. We're getting something Shadow Drop, like we said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do think we're getting Fire Emblem too, or Fire Emblem as well. I think that's definitely a thing.
What's wild is that there's a world in my brain where everything in this bingo card happens. It's obviously something would have to give.
Well, then the direct would just be, "Hi, we're Nintendo. Give us your money, and we'll just send you games."
Yeah.
That's really what this bingo card says.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we got it. I think this is it. How long have we been going for? About 2-ish hours. I think we can just close out with a little bit of Q&A and call it a night. So this is it. This is the bingo. I am now going to take that
faith.
off. You what?
I have.
Oh, you got faith. You got faith. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. But yeah, guys, we're gonna do 10, 15 minutes Q&A, and that's it. We're gonna wrap it up. Joycey, feel free to stick around to the end if you want.
Okay.
I'm glad you came on. It's been great.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys, feel free to put in any points or things you want me to discuss, or if you have any questions about the decisions we made in the bingo that you didn't get to kind of put your input in, or if we didn't see it. Yeah, feel free to question or bring up points or what have you. Let's see here. The Real J Stone asks, will GTA 5 ever be ported to Switch? Maybe.
This point seems unlikely, but it would make sense.
Yeah, it's Rockstar games happen. I don't know. Like, what didn't they do like a Grand Theft Auto trilogy on Switch? But it was like terrible.
Yes, it was.
Which
It was
were they?
garbage everywhere, though.
That was the thing. It was just bad in general.
Was it like Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, or was it something else? Okay.
I believe it was those three.
It was a trilogy, wasn't it? Like the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Maybe. When did GTA 5 originally came out?
Like 2012 or earlier. So like late Xbox 360,
2013.
PS3.
So they could
2013.
definitely. It's definitely a game that they could get running on Switch. So
It came out for
Yeah.
360 initially.
I could see it. I could see it happening.
I just don't. I don't know why they haven't released it.
I don't know, but I mean,
I don't know.
there's always something. There's always some random old big third party game that happens at some point, right? Like so,
Because initially we
maybe-
heard
yeah.
rumors that they were waiting on bigger Switch cartridges because they didn't want to have people not be able to play the game unless they have an SD card because it would have been too big. Like the amount left over would have been too big to fit into a normal Switch without an expansion SD card. So that was rumored, but they have those bigger cartridges out now and they haven't done it. So I don't know.
Neither. Skysword Alyssa is piecing out. You have a great night. Thank you. Captain Doge asks me, the Prime 4 reveal starts with Samus in a clothed cape like the manga. Just imagine it. Oh, dude.
Ooh.
Can you imagine like Samus in a cape and then like you see her and they do kind of like a Breath of the Wild thing where you see like this vast landscape that's all like very alien exotic. And then so like whatever it is, right? Like I understand there are debates about what kind of gameplay it should be, but when you evoke that kind of scope, people are gonna be drawn in because the fact of the matter is, vast open landscapes that appeals to a large audience, right? And you go and showcase one that's unlike anything that anyone has ever seen before. And you have this really cool character in Samus, and then you caper. Oh, dude, that would be crazy. It would be so cool. Like, I think, it's kind of like, hey, here's our big open world. There are hills and mountains and lots of green grass. Okay, all right, fine. But like, you do something like with Metroid, and they literally just depict a world that you have never seen anything like it before. But like that's gonna be crazy to me. Like kind of like you remember when they showed us the first Zelda trailer before giant sprawling green hills with grass everywhere was just like a common trope. Like when they showed us that first the Zelda U trailer, that was a huge moment. So they do something like that for Prime 4 where we just see it for the first time and we're just like, what are we looking at? Like our brains are like, whoa, that's going to be cool. I'm going to be in love with that. Retro Treats. Yeah. Give us purple grass. Yeah. Maybe purple grass. That would be epic. Oh, I see. That's cool. Let me share this image that let's see here. Yeah, Captain Joe shared with me on Twitter, and I think it would be a cool image to share with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Captain Doge, thank you for sending me this image. And this is from the manga. Check this out. That's cool.
Oh,
Nope.
That's cool. Yeah, that would be epic. Now the cape, right? This is more like a cloak because she's in the desert. So that would be interesting. But I mean, I don't know. What if he's even speaking like some lore stuff? There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff they could do there. Be cool stuff. Let's see here. Velociraptor Ghost adds me. Luigi's Mansion GameCube port, not the 3DS version, because the OG Luigi model looks so much better. I agree with that. Like, if we're gonna get a shadow drop of Luigi's Mansion 1, it's Pikmin 1 and 2 style. Like, you just take the GameCube game, upscale it into HD. You give it, you adapt it for Switch controls. It's something that could be done by like a handful of people, if even less, in a couple weeks. Like, it's not a big thing. It's just basically pouring the game with an upscale to Switch. That's all it is. But it would probably look really good because it's already a beautiful game. You just upscale it. It'll look wonderful. Widescreen as well, but outside of that, So basically, imagine how Luigi's Mansion 1 from GameCube looks on Dolphin. Do that. It will look awesome, and I probably honestly like if I would probably buy that over Louise Mansion 2 if I had to pick between the two, especially because apparently previous came out and there's like they didn't do that much to really modernize 2. Like there's not even like dual stick controls or anything. It's kind of like the awkward 3DS format. I haven't. That's what I've heard. We'll see. But
I mean, it
apparently.
seems like a pretty basic remaster, so I wasn't really expecting them to change
Yeah,
too much.
like it looks like they outsourced it a lot. Like 1,000 Year Door, that was done with a lot of care, and as a remake. Luigi's Mansion 2, by comparison, not so much, it seems. A guy you don't know asks me, is there a game that you think should have been on Switch years ago that you still want? There's a few, right? I would say Star Fox should have been on Switch. But one that I think should have been on Switch even more than that is Donkey Kong. I mean, literally, there was a project that has now been reported several times over the last couple of years that was being made by Vicarious Visions. There was going to be a 3D Donkey Kong game where he was going to be sliding around like Tarzan. It was going to, the same developers who made the Tony Hawk games were grinding around on tree branches, sliding on vines. Like, this was going to be a cool thing. And apparently Nintendo was excited about it. But Activision was like, no. We don't trust Nintendo. They're probably going to pull out eventually anyways. You're going to not make what you want, and you're going to just offer support for one of our other bigger projects that we know are going to make us money. And so they canned it. They didn't even give the project a try. And what's crazy is, had it come out, I know, like we all know, it would have sold millions. This would have come out and done tremendously well. Assuming it wouldn't be. Vicarious Visions is a good developer. They had a good concept. Nintendo was excited about it. They would have offered support if they needed it. Assuming they didn't assuming they stayed liking the project, right? Because it was early on, so there was that little bit of a risk. But that's the game that I think should have come to Switch. That is like, where's Donkey Kong? Because Star Fox, F-Zero, Kid Icarus, these are smaller IP. Donkey Kong has had more sales potential, so it's kind of like the bigger head scratcher out of all of them. So yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have any others that you're like, yeah, this should have been on the Switch and it hasn't.
I mean, 2D Zelda, but hopefully that'll be rectified soon.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all feel about a 2D Zelda port or top-down Zelda port, like similar to Link's Awakening?
Like a remake?
New game.
Yeah, I'm on the same camp as Brandon. I want a new game. The last time we got a new mainline 2D Zelda was Link Between Worlds from 2013. Unless we want to count Triforce Heroes, but like,
no, we don't count Triforce Heroes.
No.
We pretend like it doesn't exist, or at least I do.
Even that was a long time ago.
Mainline game.
Yeah, that was also 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Regardless, it's been years.
That's true.
Almost 11 years.
I think we need a new 2D Zelda. The last time they gave us something 2D Zelda was a remake. So remake to remake or remaster to remake. Like I know we love remakes and remasters because there's so many good Nintendo games out there, and we want to be able to play them in the best way possible on our current platform. But I also think like literally a new game is better. So I would prefer that. But if you're going to ask me of the 2D Zeldas what I would like to see, I agree with many people. Oracle of Ages and Seasons remakes would be really awesome.
Yes.
Minish Cap remake would also be really awesome.
Spirit Tracks, Phantom Hourglass, I want them all.
Ooh,
yeah,
yes.
Sure. Those probably need to be reworked if they want to see them on a modern console. So
yes, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see those. There's a question here that or it's just a statement, but Julian brings this up, and I want to speak to it because there's a reason behind it. Was it Julian? Well, I agree with what Julian said here, but there was something else I saw. The Julian here says now's the time to experiment with new 2D Zelda. I agree with that.
Definitely.
There was something I had seen. Who said it? The chat must have jumped, and that's why I don't see it anymore. But there was something about Ocarina of Time remake.
Oh wait, I think I saw that one. Let me find it.
All right, so like a few people brought it up actually. It wasn't just one person. Like as Gilman 16 said, what about Ocarina of Time HD? Or some people were asking about Ocarina of Time remake. So that's not there by by design.
Yeah.
Because we don't think I believe that Nintendo will remake Ocarina of Time. I stand by that theory. I am more convinced than ever, especially after the Lego thing that finally was confirmed that we've been talking about for over a year, right? Like, yes. But this is not going to be a Switch 1 game. It's not coming to Switch 1. This would be something for Switch 2. It would be about showcasing new hardware. Kind of, it's the same way, like you look at, that's why they'd had the 3D remaster for Ocarina for 3DS, right? That's why they had Wind Waker HD. Like, this is not something that they're gonna do for Switch 1. It's gonna be a Switch 2 thing. Now,
do we need another Ocarina? I mean, I want it to appeal to, I guess, new audiences, but do we really want to buy Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask a 5th time, or however many times it's been?
I think they'll change enough of it to where it will appeal to old and new fans.
Yeah, I'm talking about like an ambitious, like visual, like this is gonna look like a modern game. Like,
I think it'll probably be a visual and like gameplay overhaul.
Yeah,
kind of like Final Fantasy VII, but obviously not quite as drastic because it's not turn-based to real time.
Yeah, not as drastic, but yeah. And so the answer is yes.
I know I've suggested update visuals, not for me because I thought the HD 3D port was really, really good. But maybe update graphics or something to Switch, and then or Switch 2, whatever the heck. And if they update the Gossip Stones, Andre, I know I've told you that before. Update the Gossip Stones with newer lore. Don't erase what's already there. Put in new things.
Oh, that'd be
you know what I mean?
Like just like a little bit extra stuff.
Yeah. So it kind of makes you want to talk to the Gossip Stones as well. So yeah.
Okay, that would be cool. Yeah. But anyways, the reason why I would sign the bingo card is because if this is something that's going to happen, it would be for Switch 2.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Ocarina of Time 3D, that remaster came out like over 13 years ago.
Yep.
It was a long time ago.
I guess this is available on.
Go on.
No, I was just gonna say because it's on NSO now. I'm kind of like, on one hand, because I talk to Paul Gill all the time, and he's like, well, they want to bring it for a newer audience so they can get into those old games, and I'm like, yeah, but Ocarina of Time, that was kind of like our generation's big thing, or y'all's generation's big thing, and I feel like Breath of the Wild is this generation's Ocarina of Time, and I think that I just can't see them redoing it again. That's just a personal opinion. I would love to be wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I think they're gonna remake a Zelda game at some point. So
yeah, I just hope it's the more what's considered the obscure.
So let me ask you a question. Well, I mean, I think I know what your answer is gonna be based off what you were talking about earlier, but I think you agree, right, that we're not gonna see like a new 3D Zelda for like another 5 years or something, right? Like, right? It's gonna be a long time. But don't you also agree that it makes sense to get a proper modern 3D Zelda entry relatively early on for Switch 2? Like, wouldn't it be weird for Nintendo to not have some sort of proper 3D Zelda entry on this new console for over half a decade?
My personal opinion is I would normally 100% agree with you. However, because we got a Zelda movie coming in possibly that same time frame, what year is this? 24. So I could see Zelda movie news. I don't think we're getting any this year personally. Maybe next year, and then I could see the movie dropping in 26. New game drops in 27, 28. You see what I mean? So, and that's what's going to keep us talking about Zelda.
Sure.
I think Mario, a brand new 3D Mario, is going to be the Switch 2 system seller, along with Metroid Prime 4. And then they have plenty of other IPs that they're going to throw into the mix. But as far
Mario
as another
Kart, Animal Crossing, Smash,
all the things.
Yeah, so my thinking is that this remake of Ocarina of Time would actually be more closely aligned with the movie than the next actual new Zelda game. But, maybe they don't do Ocarina of Time. Maybe they remake Twilight Princess.
But I would like to see why you think that, because I think that while the movie is going to have the soul of the games, it's going to have a Link, it's going to have a Zelda, probably a Master Sword, and something outrageous happens or whatever. I think they'll stick to Ganon because it's kind of safe. But other than that, where are we pulling? Do you think they're piggybacking off of one of the games to turn it into a story? Because I think it's going to be completely separate.
It's very much like, okay, Mario movie, Mario Wonder. They're not the same thing, but there are characters in the Mario movie that people are like, oh, that's really cool. Oh, Mario Wonder has those characters, and it's that simple. It's not like it's that simple. But when you have something major, like having a major Zelda close to the movie is what is really the main point. And I'll bring up, we have interviews with Anuma where he's kind of hinting at something for Ocarina of Time. Like Game Informer literally asked him, hey, are you remaking Ocarina of Time? And he said no comment. He could have said no. Like he was also asked to make about a Zelda Dungeon Maker, and he said no to that. Didn't say no to Ocarina of Time remake. And there was another interview where he thought it was curious that some people even knew who Rauru is.
Rauru is, right.
Like implying, one, that the Ocarina of Time 3D is no longer relevant from his eyes, but also, two, that, okay, there's something about Rauru that he finds very curious, right? So, like, there's been some things, right? It's not just, oh, I want it. But then also, they chose to go with Ocarina of Time out of all their Zelda games for the Zelda Lego set, which was just confirmed. We've been talking about it for like over a year. So like, there's just like different things that I feel like, hey, they're like trying to keep this relevant. And so that's, that's a whole other conversation that we've had before, but that's my thing. But, I'll also tell you this, right? Like you talk about Twilight Princess, like if there's another game that they should remake, it's that one.
In the Wii U tech demo, art style.
Something like that, but better. Yeah.
I'll buy three of them by myself.
The Smash Ultimate, I think it's Elden Bridge.
Oh yeah,
that style. I would like that.
Ooh.
Look. Yeah. And the thing is, that style I can see done for Switch, even not even like Switch 2. Like they could get that. They could get something like that for Switch, but
they could get Twilight Princess looking real good on Switch. I just kind of have beef with because I feel like that game, that art style was done begrudgingly by the devs, because they were like, oh, you don't like our cartoons? You don't like our color? Oh, fine. Here's gray and brown and darkness. There, y'all happy?
The first trailer was in black and white. Well, not the first trailer, but like one of them was like very black and white. I think it was when they announced the game. It was a title reveal trailer. It was like Twilight Princess.
I definitely think they made it as gritty as possible based on the feedback. But I think it works in its favor in a way.
Yeah. Danny Knight here says, can you just imagine Ocarina of Time remade in either an Unreal Engine 4 or 5 on Switch 2? It would look insane. Oh, yeah, totally. Brandon and I were just talking about last night, like, he showed me this, Ants to Life game that's in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, I forgot.
And it basically just looks like a modern day Pikmin. Like, it looks like Pikmin 5. It's crazy. Yeah, I think they could do something like that. If it's a remake,
Empire of the Ants.
Yeah. I could see something like that. Chill Tunes here says, Metroid Prime 4 is the series' best chance of being a console seller due to the anticipation and spectacle of it. Double-edged sword, since if it doesn't, then it will be another blemish. Yeah, I mean, there are high stakes with this game. They've been working on it for many years. It's been expensive. It needs to do well. But I think it will do well. I think they're being very careful with it on purpose. I think one of the reasons why we haven't seen it yet is not because they haven't been able to show it. It's because they are being extremely cautious with this one, and they're being very strategic and calculated about this game, because they know that this is a big deal. They need to make it work. So they've thought this out, and when they show it, it's going to get the job done, hopefully.
It's such a well-guarded secret, because what the most that we've had to go on is like posts of what a post interview post. I'm sorry guys, I got off a 12-hour day. I'm very tired. All we have, it's so like just interviews for different positions is kind of the most that we've gotten, and it doesn't mean they're doing something specific to what we think they're doing. So it's just such a well-guarded secret. And I think it does also still blow my mind that we've been able to get so many other games, and just we've heard, yeah, we hear things, but little wisp of information, but nothing like we can sink our teeth into, So I think that's just
Yeah.
what's wild to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be crazy when we finally see it. It's gonna be so good.
I
But,
already made my promise. I'm gonna buy all the Metroid games, and I will play them all because Andres, I haven't played them. I will play them all if they announce it this
Yeah, I
year.
think
Not
for
even this direct,
you,
just this year.
right? Like you like Zelda, so I feel
Mhm.
like you should also like Metroid. The only caveat is that if you can't get behind the first person gameplay, because otherwise structurally I think it's pretty has a lot of similarities to a lot of the 3 Zelda games.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of Zelda fans
First
should actually
person,
be into Metroid, just it's first person.
yeah. See, that is gonna. You know what? I'm gonna keep my word. I will try it. Doesn't mean I have to like it, but I will try it and I will beat it.
I mean, Prime Master is a good one to try, right? It's only $40. And it's also you don't have to be good at aiming to beat Metroid Prime because it locks into whatever you want to hit. So it's more about just experiencing the world through first person. Some people can't get behind that. But in terms of difficulty, I mean, I think they even have like a casual mode, like so it's not even. I don't think that it's that much of a problem.
I'm
But
working on platinuming Bayonetta on climax mode, so hard doesn't just difficulty doesn't scare me anymore.
yeah, it's more. I think
Bayonetta
it's
giving me
for
carpal
most people to be
tunnel.
format. I mean, if you're a Zelda fan, you should be able to. It shouldn't be that much of a leap. It's more so the format.
I've been listening to you for a couple years now, Andres. You've sold me. I'm going to try them all.
Just
Like I said, I can't promise
repeatedly
I'll like
talking
them.
about it. Yeah,
But I will try them because all the games so far that I've tried on Switch that I thought I would never be interested in, I love every one of them. And now I don't know if we're going to get another Bayonetta or another Octopath Traveler. I'm hoping for another Astral Chain on Switch too.
Oh,
There's a lot of
dude,
games I've been able to try. Yes,
yeah.
thank you, Brandon. Yes, Astral Chain was off the chain.
I love
So
that game. I beat it in
if I
3 days.
try it, it's such. I want to actually go replay it again because I beat it a few years ago. Now I want to go replay it again because there's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
I forgot about. So
Same.
yeah. So, but I am going to buy all the Metroid games, or or try them on NSO. If they announce Metroid Prime 4 anytime this year, it doesn't even have to be this direct. That was the promise I made on Mike's podcast. So, same here.
We'll see
I
what
still mean
happens. See what happens.
We just got to get it this year. Just something, a teaser,
footage.
a date, just something. Just mention it.
Show us a piece of art. Here's official art. Here's Samus. She looks cool, doesn't she? They don't do that anymore. They don't. They rarely show like Nintendo rarely shows concept art to hold us over anymore.
It's because it's not exciting.
Well, that and also like they just have a lot more things to show now. Like it's not.
Well, yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
before
Like they
where-
don't need to do that. There's way
Yeah.
more exciting things to show than concept art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, that is all for now. Thank you all so much. Joyce, is there anything you would like to advertise?
I am Joy CJ. I do not have a YouTube channel because I'm old. Second of all, I am on Twitter at DJ Joycey. I am also on Mike's Nintopics podcast every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. So if you'd like to hear me rant more about Zelda and other gaming topics, you can see me there.
Awesome. Thank you for coming by.
Thank
And
you guys for
Brandon-
having me.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been good. Brandon, you got anything else you wanna say?
Hey, shout out my brother. He does Twitch. Is a Mando4464. Mando4464. He's 15. So, but he streams games. We play a lot when we're streaming. So if you guys want to see me just casually playing games, you can go watch his streams.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Good night.
Bye, guys.